Hare Hare श्री श्रीमान अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नितीला प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमान भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की स्वयं समूह श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोविंद श्याम राधानंद गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर धाम की मधुरपुरी धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की द्वारकापुरी धाम की गंगामाई की यमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की all glories to the Holy, all glories to the Holy, all glories to the Holy, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Shri Rama. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhudale Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Nidhamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prajapati Abhishek Shunyavadi Pashadi Deshadanini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Samsara Sagare Mantam Yenamam Karunanide Karamandramadri Rangam Amudharava श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षकृष्णमेव हि स्वीकृतोऽस्मि मया नाथं मुच्यर्थं भवसागरे मनोरथे मन्योऽयं सदा सर्वदा त्वया निर्विघ्नेन कर्तव्यं दासोऽहं तव केशव पवेकमे यदा भक्ति पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नादस्वप्नो यद प्रभो नामसंकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनं तं नमामि हरिं परम् जन्माद्यस्य यतोन्मयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वरात् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ते अविसूरया तेजोवारिमृतं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा नानासेन सदा निरस्तमुखं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मप्रोचितयो प्रवरणो मत्सराणां सदा वेद्यं भास्वरमप्रवस्तु शिवदं तावत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते बिम्बापरे ईश्वरः सत्यो हृद्यवरुध्यते प्रकृतिः शुश्रूषुभिः दक्षिणाः निगमकल्पतरो कलितं फलं शुभपादमृतद्रवसंयुतं विगतभागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तम् अनुपेतं वेदकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातरमञ्जुभाव पुत्रेति जन्महितयत्तरवो विनेतु तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपमलितीर्षदान्तमोक्तं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनाम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् कमनीयकिशोरमुग्धमूर्ते कलवेणुपुनिदातुदानलिन्दोः मम वाचि विचम्पदां मुरारे मधुरिणाकणिकाभिभावि नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रसाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशकारिणे श्रीमद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां मम वन्दे नन्दव्रजश्रीणाम् आदरेणुमभीष्णशा ज्ञानसम्मैगतोद्गीतं पुराणे गुणत्रयम् गोपीचरणारविन्दपरमानन्दं टीकाम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खं कौमोदगी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायमतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशमनिशं हृदि भावयामि कोमलं पूजयन्तेयं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारः वेदवेद्यपदं ब्रह्म वासदां पुरतो मम मूकं करोति वाचालं मङ्गलं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णाय नमः। सर्वत्र गोविन्दनाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द। When we discussed last Sunday, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Motamate, Samprapte, Sannihide Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshari, Dukranjarane. So Acharya Swamiji went to see his spiritual master, walked over 1,000 miles at the age of 8. He was 8 years old. He went and saw Govinda Bhagavad-Pada. Govinda Bhagavad-Pada was his spiritual master, and there is a long history behind Govinda Bhagavad-Pada, which will not go in now because that's a long story. How Govinda Bhagavad-Pada appeared in this world. If you go back into their tradition, you will see there from Narayana comes Brahma, and Brahma comes Vasishtha, Vasishtha comes Shakti, Shakti comes Parashara, Parashara comes Vedavyas, Vedavyas to Sudeva Goswami, and from Sudeva Goswami it is the next personality is Govinda Bhagavad-Pada. So there is that lineage which is there. Govinda Bhagavad-Pada was waiting for this disciple to come. That is how the history says about that. So when he went to see him, first question, Govinda Bhagavad-Pada was so pleased to see him. He says to him, Kastvam Bala, who are you? Young child, I'm so pleased to see you, he says. Ananda Mocha, that I'm extremely feeling great bliss by seeing you. At that time, the answer to that, Kastvam Bala, when he asked, who are you? The answer was what is known as the Shashloki, the 10 verses, where one of the famous stotram, what he has compiled at the age of 8. And those verses, 10 verses, what he spoke at the very end of his life, while he had to leave his body, when he was 32 years, he left this world. At that time, one of his chief disciple, Padmavada, asked him, give us the instructions, what you have to give it to us now before you leave this world. Acharya Swamiji at that time repeated the same 10 verses again, in order to indicate to us that in spiritual knowledge you don't develop anything new. You always stick to the same knowledge. It remains the same from beginning to end. Never, it is not a development process, knowledge. If any knowledge that is being developed, like in the material life, what we find all the time, isn't it? Physics, chemistry, and all biology and everything, they keep on developing it all the time, like a technology development they call it. And they think knowledge comes through development. But Vedic philosophy, Vedic principle is knowledge never comes through development. Knowledge is always knowledge. It will remain as knowledge all times to come. It remained so far and will remain the same in the future. So that is why, to prove that point, he mentioned at that time that these 10 verses, that who am I, that question he answered, and that is that the Shishloki, what is known as the 10 verses. The Shishloki says there, Na bhumi, na toyam, na tejo, na vayu, na kamyendriyam va, na tesham samoha, anegandhigatva sushutyega siddha, tadego vashishtam shiva kevaloham. Acharya's reply was, I am none of these. He wouldn't say who I am. He says, I am none of these. What? None of these material elements, earth, water, air, ether or fire. Na kamnindriyam va na tesham samuha. None of these senses I am. And all, the combination of all these things, I am not that. In other words, all the material elements, I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this intelligence, I am not any of these things. But Anegandhigatvat sushutyega siddha, that by its very nature, out of the 3 states of existence, in Sushupti state, you will know him better. You will know him better. Because in the waking state of mind, senses and physical body, everything functions with the consciousness derived from the Atma, from the soul, because of the flow of the consciousness. The mind, body, intelligence, everything functions. But in the deep sleep state, anegandhigatvat sushutyega siddha. Only what I experienced in that deep sleep state is that I slept happily, I didn't know anything. In other words, when you have given up your body, given up your mind, given up your intelligence, ego and everything, then when you have experienced that blissful nature of happiness, state of happiness in the deep sleep state, that's me. Anegandhigatva sushutyega siddha. Only in Sushupti state you will know him better, because in Sushupti you experience that deep sleep state, you experience that happiness. Tadego vashishtam shiva kevaloham. That remains in that Sushupti state. What you have experienced at that state as happiness, that's me. That's how he answered the first question. So, the question he answered with 10 verses as the first verse. Then he continued saying the same, repeatedly the many things. Na varnam cha varnashramachara dharmam na me dharana dhyana yoga adayopi anatmavashayaham mamadhyasahana tadego vashishtam shiva kevaloham. That na varnashramachara dharmam. In other words, I don't belong to any of the 4 varnam. We have 4 varnam and 4 ashramam, isn't it? 4 material divisions and 4 spiritual divisions. Material divisions is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Spiritual division is Brahmachari, Grahastham, Vanaprastham, Sannyasam. So 4 varnam and 4 ashramam. I don't belong to any of them. This is a very higher state, which beyond this varnashrama dharma. Na varnashrama ajara dharma. Ajara dharma, according to varnashrama, na me dharana dhyana yogada yogi. No, I don't belong to that Ashtanga yoga process where in the lower states you have yamam, niyamam, asanam, pranayamam, pratyaharam, dharana, all of those things. I don't belong to any of them. Anatmashayam. And he says here, Analpashrayaham amadhyasahanal. Because of the identification with the body, what has happened? Analpashrayaham amadhyasahanal. Adhyasam has developed. Adhyasam we discussed yesterday also. What does adhyasam mean? Krishna says that calls us adhyavasayam. Adhyavasayam means that in our real self, pure identity, we have piled a lot of designations on top of it. That is called Adhyavasaya. In Shastra, the word they use is Adhyavasaya. Adhyavasaya means, I have nothing to do with any of that. Purely by nature, we are Aham Brahmasmi, isn't it? So I am. On which I have piled a lot of designations, one on top of the other. Many designations. So, I am none of that, he says. No pile designations. Anatmavashayaham adhyasahanal. adhyasam, whatever adhyasam has created, is nothing to do with me. Tadego vasishtam. If you take all that I have piled up, you remove them, take it out, what is remaining there? Tadego vasishtam. Shiva, auspicious that is, pure kevaloham, that pure consciousness, that's me. Then, na mada pidava na deva na loka, na veda na yajna na tirtha bruvandi, sushupto nirastadi shunya atmagatval, tadeva vasishtam Shiva kevaloham. Third verse, he says there, na mada pidava na deva na loka. When you go into deep sleep state, have you got father, mother? We take all this so seriously, isn't it? He says, na mada pidava na deva na loka, na veda na yajnam na tirtha bruvanti, sushupto nirastaya shunyatmagatval tadeva vasishtam Shiva kevaloham. See, mada, pida, father, mother, and demigods, devatas whom you worship, all of them, that is all same remains as a serious thing only in the vacant state. Na Veda, na Yajnam, Vedam also, Yajnam also, sacrifices also. Tirtha Bruvandi, places, holy rivers, holy places, what we consider, they are also holier only in the vacant state. When you move into the deep sleep, they don't exist. Sushupto, Nirastadi Shunyatmagatval. In Sushupti state, what is, because we have moved away from the all what is not us. What is not us, that's what we have moved away. Identification with the body, mind, intelligence, we have moved away from all that. Because of that, Tadeva Vasishtam Shiva Kevaloham. What remains at that time, that's me. And Shruti say that, in the Shrutis also say the same thing. Upanishad says this very clearly. In deep sleep there is no father, no mother, nor gods, nor the world, nor the Vedas, nor the sacrifices, nor the holy places. This is all in the vacant state. All this remain, isn't it? Nor is there, since I exist then as the one auspicious self, free from all attributes. It is only that, this is why Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad discusses this deep sleep state for this reason. That's where when we have freedom from all the ubhadis, isn't it? Freedom from all the upadhis. So, the notions, like we have the notions of caste, stage of life, brahmachari, grahastha and all that, based only on the false knowledge, what we have created. When purity develops in the heart, freedom from these identities happens. Whatever false identity we have piled on us, we get rid of them one after the other. And this verse, Namada na pidava na deva na loka, na veda na yajnam na tirtha bruvandi, Sushupto nirastadi shunyatmagatva tadeva vasishtam Shiva kevaloham. This is based on the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this has come. In the state of deep sleep, the father ceased to be a father, the mother ceased to be a mother, and a thief is not a thief. An old man is not an old man, a man is not man, a woman is not woman. This is the higher understanding of our identity. When we are identifying with the body all the time, what do we think? I am young, or I am old, I am young. People relate this. This is all ajnanam, it is all avidya. This all has to go from inside before some understanding the soul is concerned, realization of the soul. Then what he says, na sankhya na shaivam, na pancharatram. Na sankhya na shaivam, na pancharatram. Na jainam, na mimamsaka dharmadatvam. Sankhya, I am not a Sankhya, belong to na Shaivam. I don't belong to that tradition either. In the deep sleep state, none of this exists, isn't it? Today you may say you are a devout Vaishnava or Shaiva or anything for that matter. Identification again. Remember yesterday we were discussing this. Adveshta sarvabhodana maitra karuna evaja nirmamo nirahangara samadukha sugakshami. Bhagavad Gita. Santushta satadam yogi yad alma dranishchaya may arpita manobuddhir yomalibhakta samepriya. Krishna is saying there that Adveshta sarvabhodana, when you come to that state, if you hold on to designations, Adveshtam is not possible. If not only Adveshtam, if you want Maitri also, one side Adveshtam, freedom from the adveshta means freedom from the dvesham. That means hate, freedom from hate. Dvesham, hate. So freedom from hate, but on the other hand, friendship to others. Krishna is saying, adveshta and that too to all the living entities in this creation. If that state has to happen to any one of us, first of all, we cannot identify with anything in this creation. Only when we are on the platform of the soul, in identification with our pure identity, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupam, as the soul, only in that state you can experience that Adveshta Sarvabhoganam. If you have any attachment anywhere, in any form, anywhere in this world, naturally you will have a difficulty, you will have to distance from something else. That's the way it works. If there is ragam, there will be dvesham. If there is ragam, if there is attachment, there will be aversion. If there is love, there will be hate as well. That's the way it works. You will not get the freedom from that. So, Krishna is saying, Adveshta Sarvabhodanam Maitra Karuna. Krishna is talking about a devotee. Devotee cannot have any identity with any of these things. If you are identifying with something, that means that you will have to distance from something else. Because that is dvandvam, duality of the world. That's how it works. If you say that na sankhya, na shaivam, na pancharatram, even pancharatram is what's referred to as Vaishnavam, isn't it? So if I belong to Sankhya, if I say I accept Sankhya, then you will have problem with Shaivam, or you will have problem with Pancharatram or Vaishnavam, or you will have problem with Jainam, the Jainism, or Mimamsaka. Mimamsaka is the another Purva Mimamsa they call it, which was followed by Mandala Mishra. Jaiminis, Vedavyasa Maharshi had 4 disciples, Pailan, Sumandu, Vaishambhayana and Jaimini. Jaimini followed what is known as Karmakandam in the Vedam, which is Mimamsa philosophy. Karma Mimamsa they call it. So that Karma Mimamsa was very popular at one time, and Jaimini came through Jaimini, Jaiminiya Sutram on Jaimini has written Jaiminiya Sutram on the Karma Mimamsa, which is famous. So if you identify Vedantam is different from all these things in the sense that Sankhya, Shaivam, Pancharatram, Jainam, or Mimamsakatvam, any one of them, Vishishthanimutya, Vishuddhalmagatva. If because of when you realize the truth of your identity, what you are, generated by the Upanishads, when Upanishads comes in and tells us that Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, then absolutely pure, then I remain as that one auspicious, Tadego Vasishtam Shiva Kevaloham, I am that pure entity, untouched by any of these identities, either as a Shaivam, Vaishnavam or anything. Upanishads are like that, stressing on this one point. So, Na Shuklam, next one. Na Shuklam, Na Krishnam, Na Rektam, Na Beenam. Na Kubjam, Na Peenam, Na Haswam, Na Dirgham. Ayubham Tada Jodi Agaragatwal Tadego Vashishtam Shiva Kevaloham. If you ask my color, I am not black, nor red, nor yellow, or white. Na Shuklam, Na Krishnam, Na Rektam, Na Peenam. None of them is my color. Na Kubjam, Na Peenam, Na Haswam, Na Dirgham. If you ask me what's your size, I am not small, I am not big. I am not short, I am not long. And Ayubam Tada Jodi Agaragatva. If you ask me what is the shape of me, I have no shape either. Ayubagatam. That spirit soul, when Krishna describes that in the Bhagavad Gita also, it is formless, it hasn't got an identity like that. So, Ayubam Tada Jodi Agaragatva Tadego Vashishtam Shiva Kevaloham. Only in this way you can mention about the soul's pure consciousness. I am pure consciousness. Na Shastra, Na Shastra, Na Shastram, Na Shishyo, Na Shiksha, Na Jatvam, Na Chaham, Na Vayam, Prapancham. Swarubhava bhodo vikalpa sahishnu tadeva vasishtam shiva kevalam. Na shastra, na shastram. Spirit soul does not require any instructions, doesn't require any shastram, or it doesn't have to give any instructions to anybody. Therefore, na shishyo, na shiksha. There is no instructions to be given, or nor there is any disciples to learn. Na jatvam na chaham na vayam prapancham. Then, neither teacher nor scriptures, neither student nor instruction, neither you nor I nor this world. Swarubhava bhodam, the knowledge of one's own real self, does not vikalpam asahishnu. Remember this, soul does not allow any vikalpam inside. By very nature itself. We talked about this before. Just like you can see this in this world, everyone likes, people like each other, some people like somebody like that, isn't it? But even the closest relationship in this world, if you take, say mother and a child, after a while mother wants to move away from the child, wants to be her own. Why is it like this? We are not able to keep any relationship in this world on the same level all the time, isn't it? You can associate with people for a short period of time. After a while then you want to come out from there. You want to be on your own. Why? The person inside does not allow you to do that. You get a little bit drawn at that. You want to be on your own, isn't it? That is called vikalpam. Vikalpam asahishnu. Asahishnu means you will not tolerate inside. Any relationship if you take, you can see this happening. Of course, in so many ways it happens, in family life also, among friends also, or even in any relationship. Vikalpam asahishnu. That is the soul's nature. He would not allow anything to get closer to you. He wants that freedom from that because all relationships there is some commitment there, isn't it? But soul doesn't allow that. So it says here, Swarubhava bhodo vikalpa sahishnu. That Swarubhava bhodam, in other words, knowledge of one's own real nature does not admit any of these different connections, perceptions, in other words, different perceptions. It does not want that. Does not want to be pulled by any other force in this world. Temporarily they may have a relationship with others, but for a short period of time. After that he wants to come back to his own state of pure consciousness, in other words. So, na jagrat me swapneko va sushupti na vishyo na va taijasa yajneko va avidyatmadatva trayanam tuliyam tadego vasishtam shiva kevalam. Na jagrat me swapnam na sushupti. Jagrat, swapnam, sushupti. Na vishyo na va tejasa prajneko va. Now, the soul, when he is moving from these three states, one to another, in the Jagrat state he is called as Vishwan. In the dream state he is called Taijasam. And in the deep sleep state he is called Prajnam. Vishwan, Taijasam, Prajnam. You will see that in the Bhagavatam, at the end, in the 12th canto, Sudha Goswami talking about that to Shaunaka Rishi and all the sages who are present in the Naimisharanya to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. At that time he says to them, this Vishwam, Taijasam, Prajnam, these three names given to the soul based on his situation at that time. He has nothing to do with anything. But in the Vishwam, while he is Vishwam, he is busy with the vacant state, the world, isn't it? And then when you go to the dream state, what happens? He is going to Taijasam. Taijasam means that he has come out to the world, but he has not moved into his own identity in between. And what is the reality then? The proper name given to him is Prajnam. Prajnam is the state in the deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state. Because all these three states are products of ignorance. That you have to remember. That waking state, dream state or deep sleep, I am not Vishwa, I am not Tejasa or Prajna. Because all these three states are only the products of ignorance, I am the fourth one, Turiya state. That's where, when you are completely come out of the three states as well, Turiya states. If you remember, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many personalities who were in the Turiya state. And Parikshit Maharaj, when he went to see Shamika Rishi was in the Turiya state. You will see in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned. If you look into Shamika, there, how does he say that? If you look into Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, Parikshit was shocked to see that state, Turiya state. He wants to be in that state, but he is unable to. So, feeling that difficulty inside, if you look there, I think it's in the 7. When the Brahmana boy cursed him, remember that? Brahmana Shringi cursed Parikshit, isn't it? So what happened there was that Parikshit is there to Parikshit went to he said there, if you look into the 18th chapter, the first canto, verse number 31. He says there that Esha kim nibrida shesha karano milide kshana mrisha samadhi ahosil kimnu sya kshatrabandhubhi, says. He says that is this a proper samadhi state? Mrisha samadhi. Mrisha samadhi means that you are not in samadhi, but you are closed your eyes and showing to the world that you are in samadhi. You are in the samadhi. Kimnusya kshatrabandhuvi. So, is he really in samadhi state, or is he trying to fool the world, cheat this world? Parikshit is saying this. Parikshit is thinking about him. And he says to him in that way. So, at that time, you will see that Brahmane Kshatrabandhuhi Varavalo Nirubhida Sakadam Vasaswasta Bhandam Bhaktamarhari. And when he goes further, you will see there that the stage where he was there in the, if you look into verse 26, that is that fourth stage he is talking about. Pradirudhendriya pranam manobuddhimuparadam sthanatrayalparam praptam brahmabodham avikriyam. That is that state, that turiyam. Turiyam means pradirudhendriya pranam manobuddhimuparadam. That mind, intelligence, all of them has going through that state in the yoga process what is known as uparati. That's why the word uparadam is used. It's in the state of uparati. Pradiruddhi indriya pranam. Senses and the prana is completely in control. Mind and intelligence in the state of uparati. Uparati means yavam, nevam, asanam, pranayam, pratyaharam, dharana, dhyanam, samadhi. These 8 states for the yogis. For the jnani, when he is Ashtanga Yogam and Jnana Yogam are quite close in that sense. In the Jnana Margam, they have got Nityanitya Vastu Vivekam, Ihamutra Bhala Bhoga Viragam, Shamadamani Shalsambati Mukshatvam. This is for the jnani. Now, out of that, Shamadamani Shalsambati, what is that? Shamam, Dhamam, Tidiksha, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhanam. 6 things. Shalsambati, they call it. Out of that 6 sambhatis or 6 assets of the jnani, Uparati comes after Shamam, Dhamam, Tidiksha, Uparati. That means after control of the mind, control of the senses, Shamam, Dhamam, Tidiksha, able to tolerate everything. Tidiksha's definition we have seen before, isn't it? Tolerant to everything. Then comes Uparati. After these 3 things, Uparati comes. Then Uparati state, what happens is, the mind and intelligence is completely absorbed in the truth. Because the knowledge, constant chewing the Upanishad's knowledge and the Shastram,
The knowledge has built up so strongly inside, you can't move away from that anymore. That stage comes. That you are so absorbed in the truth, that is the Jnanamargam, isn't it? That due to the powerful knowledge of the Upanishads that has gone in, and due to very powerful vicharam or contemplation of that, he is fixed in that about his identity as the soul, the Aham Brahmasmi state. And that time, Uparati comes to him. Uparati means mind and intelligence is not moving anymore into the world. Mind is not functioning, intelligence is not functioning. That state is Uparati. Manobuddhi Uparadam, he says. Mind and buddhi, intelligence has come to a standstill. When they move, world begins. That is the state of the yoga. Mind and intelligence is not moving anymore. It has come to a very firm state. So he says here, Pradirudhendriya Pranam Manobuddhi Uparadam. And then what happened? Sthanatrayal Param. Sthanatrayam means Jagrat, Swapnam, Sushupti. Beyond these three states, Param. Param means beyond these three. Sthanatrayal Param, Praptam, he has reached that state, and Brahma Bhudam Avikriyam. He is in the Brahman realized state without any activities. Mind, intelligence, senses, all in control, and at the same time, Sthanatrayal Param Praptam. That is that Turiyam state. Turiyam state is like that. In Bhagavatam you will see that in many personalities refer to the Turiyam Avastha. Turiya Avastha as it is called. Turiya Avastha. So normally Jagrat, Swapnam, Sushupti, the three states in which we keep running back and forth within these three. When you go beyond the three and the fourth state, that is what is called as the Turiya state. So when you come to the Turiya state, it says here that Na Jagrat, Na Swapnam, Na Sushupti, Va Sushupti. No vacant state, no dream state, no deep sleep. Na Vishwam, Na Tejasam, Na Prajna Gova. Neither Vishwan, nor Tejasan, nor Prajnam. All these three states are products of ignorance. Remember, all these three states are products of ignorance. Why? It has come from Maya. Maya, when we are in contact with Maya, we experience these three states. Isn't it? We experience that. Why? Sattvagunam comes Jagrat state, Rajogunam comes dream state, and Tamogunam comes in the Sushupti. So, three modes of material nature takes control of us at that time. In vacant state, dream state, deep sleep. Jagrat, Swapnam, Sushupti. Vishwan, Tejas and Prajna. That is how it works. So, I am the fourth one. I don't belong to any of those three. I remain as the one free from all attributes. Vishwa is the name given to Jiva in the waking state, and Tejas in the dream state, and Prajna in the deep sleep state. So, it goes like that, and Na Chegam Tadandya Dvidiyam Pudasyad Na Va Kevalatvam Na Chagevalatvam Na Shunyam Na Cha Shunyam Aivan Advaitagatval Katham Sarva Vedanta Siddhim Pravimi. So, here he recited these 10 verses to Govinda Bhagavan. Govinda Bhagavan heard that, and he mentioned to him that only the question was, who are you? That's all. Answer is these 10 verses. And then he mentions to him that you can see here, he didn't tell him any address where I come from. Nothing was spoken there. In all Acharya Swamiji's creations, all the literature what he has created, there is no reference to any place or any time anywhere. Time and place is not in his dictionary. For one who wants to free oneself from the material concept of life, he has to come out of time and space. Time and space is for material life. Spiritual life doesn't have time and space because we exist eternally. We don't die. So the fact is that if you say to someone, "Oh, you don't die," they find it very hard to accept that, isn't it? But spiritually, that is our real identity. How do we understand otherwise? What is spiritual life is all about? Coming out of Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Amrudo Mrityoma Amrudamgamaya, Asadoma Sadgamaya. Upanishads are saying to us, isn't it? Freeing ourselves from the temporary nature of this body, mind, intelligence, everything. So, so he mentioned that I am not any of these five material elements, nor I am the three states of existence, but I am the witness which is going through all these things. As a witness, I stay there in all these three states, and that's all. That's me. That's me. And I have no birth, I have no death. He says too. Now, what do you teach such a person who is telling you this at the age of 8? What can you teach him? So, I have no father, I have no mother, he says. And I am not a mother, I am not a father for anybody. That is pure consciousness. Freedom from all the identities, isn't it? So, this identification which is superimposed on us, these are all identifications are superimpositions on us. And that is what is called adhyasam. That is called adhyasam. What I am not, I have put down those things on top of me. And you have to take them out all one after the other. Whatever I have put upon me, what I am not, I have to take them out from there and throw it away. First of all, I am this body. I am this body. Then in this body, this identity that I am man, woman. Is it not? And in that form, in that man, woman, again then I am thinking I am Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And if you go on this category, you can see that identity, again there is, if you are a Brahmana, you are a high class Brahmana or a low class Brahmana. And there are also so many differences. So you can see how that identities you are piling up on yourself, stacking up on yourself, isn't it? And so many things you have identifications or designations, they have been piled upon me, my identity, without getting rid of them. Where is the freedom? This is the question. Without getting rid of all this identity from inside, where is the freedom? There is no freedom. What we are actually carrying is a heavy load on us, on top of us. And to take away this load from our head, in Shastram they call it as Adhyasa Niragaranam. Adhyasa Niragaranam. Adhyasa Niragaranam means this. All that what you have piled upon yourself through Adhyasam, taking it out one after the other, that is called Adhyasa Niragaranam. It is a part of the Jnanamarga process itself. They do that. They tell you that you have to get rid of all the identities, because there is no other way. Over several lifetimes, several vasanas we have created, and then when we came here, identified with the body, first thing we did was identification with the body. With the body, so many other things have happened, man, woman, and then all the different Varnam, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and then again we have got so many other castes added to that, this caste, that caste, and all kinds of things. And then we are feeling very happy about it. I've done the right thing. I'm very happily situated in all these different designations what I have put upon me. But when you develop spiritual understanding, we have to free ourselves from all these things. This big web we have created around us in all these things. And that is why first thing you have to keep saying, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. You have to keep saying. After taking out everything, what is left? That will shine on its own. The soul, that will shine on its own. So, in order to shine that, you don't have to bring a torch or anything. It will shine on its own. And only what thing we have to do is to take out everything what we are not. What we are not. So, because all these things, what we consider as we are now, it didn't come. Originally it wasn't there. We have put it on at some time in our growth in this world. When you are born in a particular place, you will say that I belong to this land. So you may call yourself as Indian or American or European or whichever way, wherever you are born. And similarly, based on the province you are born, you may, whatever language you speak, based on that you will say I belong to this or that. Or if you, this anybody can understand that, or the religion parents have followed, you will follow that religion and you will identify yourself with that. All these things, when it comes to Vyavaharam, becomes very difficult. Is it not? In the dealing with the world, you need all these things. But in spiritual life, you don't need any of these things. It's all useless. Actually, it's a headache. It's a burden on us. We are carrying with it. But what we want to do, we want spiritual life with all these things together. And that's not possible. That is the problem. We keep saying that, oh, I read Bhagavad Gita, I'm not understanding it. How will I understand? Because I'm carrying this garbage with me all the time. All these acquired identities with me. And we want to understand what Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita or Krishna has spoken in the Ekadasha Skandam. How we will understand? Because this inside is completely filled up with this garbage of identities like that, isn't it? So, Brahmana, Kshatriya. So, therefore, when anybody, anyone in this world, if he takes away what he is not, he will realize the truth. That's all it is. He will realize the truth. So, you can see here, of course, in these days now, there is no, people don't identify like that. People are hesitant to say they are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. Instead, they will say, I am a Tory or a Libdom or a Labour or something like that. I'll be very happy to say that. You have noticed that? They'll say in election time, some people who are supporting Tories, they'll put some Tories thing on the window. Or Labour will put Labours. They don't have a problem with that. But people are hesitant to say I'm a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya. But they're happy to say I'm a Tory or a Labour or a Libdom. So you've thrown away one identity, you're taking something else on it, top of that. Or if you say, you'll say like this, oh, young people, what do? Have you seen this in the office? You will see this. One is a Man United supporter, other one is a Chelsea supporter, third one is an Arsenal supporter. He has no problem saying that. He'll wear those clothes happily and a hat and go for all the football matches. I should be there because my team is playing. That's how the identity is, isn't it? So some identities you throw away and you are piling something else on top of that. You are not Man United, not Arsenal, not Chelsea. You are spirit soul. But in Shankaracharya's days, Arsenal, Man United didn't exist. So he didn't mention them. But today if you say these things, you have to talk in this way only to make people understand. Otherwise they won't understand. Good day. If you tell them about Brahman, Kshatriya, I say, so I am not identifying with it. But you are identifying some other thing. Again, identification is there. That's the point. Adhyasam. This is called Adhyasam. This Adhyasam Nirakarana is the first step in the Jnanamargam. It's the first step. So, if you're not like that, then Nishedam. Nishedam means continuously rejecting it. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. We have to start rejecting within us. I'm not that, I'm not that, I'm not that. Because everything you have to get rid of by denial. By denial. Because if you don't do that, you will never get that Shanti inside. All these Adhyasam does is, whatever you have piled upon yourself, they are creating what? Creating your Chittam disturbed. Disturbed means the Shanti that has to be inside won't happen. These are in a subtle level, it's happening in everybody. In everybody this is happening. If you sit down and peacefully analyze this point, what mentions here, you will notice that these are all Vikalpam inside. These are all Vikalpam inside. In the, you can see, when we are identifying with the devotee's approaches, Tadrashim Chitta Shantim. Chitta Shanti comes from where it mentions that Kaschil Klesha Jivatham Arthakshaya Vimalanadir Nurdhyamano Janokhehi Pragevam Prahavipro Mahalumamajana Kalagarma Grahavam Chedome Dukhahedu Tadihakunaganam Bhavayal Sarvagari Tetva Shando Gadastvam Mamaja Vibho Tadrashim Chitta Shantim. Who said this? Our Avanti Brahmana, Bhikshu. What did he say? He says, Kashal Klesharthidartha Kshayavalamadhir Mutyamano Janokhehi. This is a verse not from the Bhagavatam but from Narayana. The same message is the same. Kashchil Kaishabjidarthakshay Malamadirnudyamano Janogai. That what has happened is, I've struggled very hard, acquired a lot of wealth in this world, and it has gone. Klesharjidartham Kshayam. That all the wealth I have acquired with a lot of effort, struggled very hard and created a lot of wealth. Vimalamadirnudyamano Janogai. Pragevam prahavipro nakhalumajanam kalakarmagrahavam. He says, Pragevam prahavipro nakhalumajanam. That I have identified as Brahmana, but they are not me. They have nothing to do with any of the people around me. Nakhalumajanam and kalakarmagrahava. Neither time, nor the planets, nor my karma can touch me. He says. So, when it comes to Adhyasa Nirakaranam, on a very gross level, we have all this identity. Which one? Identification with political party, football club or whatever that we have identified with. On a gross level. In a subtle level, what else is there? Kalam, karmam, grahava. That we have also in our, when bad experiences comes in life, we identify with the time at that time. The bad time, we say. Or we identify with our karma. We say, oh, it's a karma, what I have done in the past is coming back. Kala karma. We talk about the planets' influence on us, isn't it? Chedo me dukkha hedu tadihagunaganam bhavayal sarvagari. Chedo me dukkha hedu. Actually, my problem is none of that. My mind. That is what's coming from everywhere. Tadihagunaganam bhavayal sarvagarim tetva shando gadaswam. When I have given up all these connections with this world, because all these connections are with the world, isn't it? When you identify with anything, connections develop and it develops into dukkha hedu, he says. That is the cause of my distress. Because I am connected with the world in this way. Chedo me dukkha hedu tadihagunaganam bhavayal sarvagari tektva shando gadastvam. When I given up all that, what happened to me? Gadastvam mama jaguri vibhom tadrishim chitta shantim. Chitta shanti has happened to me. Tadrishim chitta shantim. Chitta shanti, that peacefulness inside is a necessity for spiritual advancement, for spiritual life. Otherwise it's not possible. So here, in these 10 verses, which is known as Dashashloki, Acharya Swamiji spoke about himself. Govinda Bhagavad was very pleased about that, and he sent him to Benares. He sent him to Benares, Kashi, Varanasi, different names, no, isn't it? So he sent him to Varanasi, and when he went to Varanasi, there is so many carts there, bathing carts. So there is a famous one which is known as Manikarnika Ghat. That's where he went first time, and glorifying that Manikarnika Ghat, he wrote 8 verses. Manikarnika Ghat Ashtakam, they call it. Manikarnika Ashtakam. So, and whenever he spoke about the different places, Kashi in those days was an important place. Mainly because you will notice all acharyas went to Kashi. Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vishnu Swami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody went to Kashi. Why? Kashi was the center of learning. All the great scholars, they were in Kashi. Kashi was the center. If you don't go to Kashi and if you don't deal with the scholars there, you cannot propagate any of your understanding of the Vedic literature. That was the system then. So that is why over a period of more than thousands of years, great acharyas, they go to Kashi first. It is a place where they will meet with a lot of learned personalities, scholars, and not only that, Lord Shiva himself, due to his presence, Lord Shiva is the authority of the transcendental knowledge. There is then that tradition that existed there in Benares for a very, very long period of time. So all, whether it is Shaiva tradition, Vaishnava tradition, or any tradition, Advaitam, Dvaitam, they all had to go to Kashi, to Benares. So when he went there, first he wrote about Benares itself 5 verses. That is known as Kashi Panchakam. Kashi Panchakam, 5 verses he wrote about that. And then 8 verses on the place where he stayed in Manikarnika Ashtakam. He wrote about that as well. So, none of them, nowhere he talks about the place. He mentions those places in reference to the self-realization. All the 5 verses, if you look, you will see all the 8 verses on Manikarnika Ashtakam. Nothing to do with the land or how beautifully the steps are made or how the land looks like. No, it's all in reference to self-realization, how that is important. That is how he mentions there. So, all through Acharya Swamiji's literature, what he compiled, there never reference to any place. Time and place was not important for him in any circumstances. But Kashi, as you know, it is one of the famous places in Uttar Pradesh at the moment. And many, all traditions have their mutts. In Advaitis, Ramanuja has their own mutt, Madhvacharya has his mutt, Gaudiya Vaishnava has their mutt. And at least in Kashi, a lot of discussions happen. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had with many scholars. Discussions also happened in Benares, isn't it? So Acharya Swamiji mentions that Kashi, he says, it's nothing but Brahman. So how do you go to Kashi? He mentions that it doesn't cost anything, he says. That this mind, which is wandering around all outside, if you start turning it inwards, looking, Upanavurtihi Paramoga Shantihi, mind will come to a peaceful state, and somehow or the other, you have to tell the mind, for such a long time you have wandered around in this world. Now stop this wandering around and come back to its center, where the mind was born. Mind was born from the heart, isn't it? Mind has taken birth. Medicine don't tell you where the mind was born. They say mind exists, they agree, but they can't tell you where it has come from. Vedanta says, Vedas are telling us, mind was born from the Chit Shakti. It's a powerful energy that has come from the Chit Shakti. If you ask, show it to me, you can't show that. So, Jayaraja Swami says to this mind that you have been wandering around in this world for money, you have been crying like this and wandering all over like a ghost, you are running around. Nidhisara Sukhama, Ramasanidhi Sukhama, he wrote a famous song about that. So, Krishna, who is present, for Jayaraja Swami was Rama, who is present inside. Leaving him alone, then you are wandering after this money, he says. That is that famous song, Nidhisara Sukhama, Ramasanidhi Sukhama. Ramasanidhi means Ramchandra is present in the heart. So, his advice is, on your own, engage in reflection and find out presence of Rama inside. So, if you allow this mind and pull him back, take his attention inwards and bring him to a peaceful state, Nischala Shantihi, Paramoga Shantihi, Shanti will come. So, normally when we bathe in the nice temple tanks, where there is plenty of water, clean water, when you bathe there, you feel, and you'll say, oh, I'm feeling very fresh, isn't it? You say like that, you feel very fresh at that time. But that freshness will go after a while. It won't stay very long. But if the mind becomes peaceful, Shanti state, one freshness comes, a freshness comes. That freshness is different. When you experience a freshness in the body, when you have a shower, nice shower, you feel very fresh. Or you bathe in a nice tank, you feel very fresh, isn't it? Bathe in a river, bathe in a tank, you feel very good. Because in a flowing water or in a large storage water, in a temple tank or something, when you bathe you feel very good. Because you can go down completely inside the water and come out. Unlike the bathing in the bathroom, is it not? So that makes you feel far more fresh in that. But here, mind when it gets pulled inwards, and when Shanti comes to the mind, that freshness is different. The great devotees, they talk about that. that there is in the heart, there is a tank inside, Manasa Sarasa, they call it, isn't it? When you go to Kailasam, those who go to Kailas, they go to Manasa Saras there. There is a famous, devotees can go now. A lot of people are going now to Kailas, isn't it? There is organized tours now to Kailas Yatra, they call it. So many travel agents now advertising for Kailas Yatra. And they'll organize everything for you. And there is a famous lake there which is called Manasa Sarasa. The name itself is Manasa Sarasa. So here, in that Sarasa, or Manasa Sarasa means that lake, water is always very steady. It doesn't have any waves or anything. Always in a very quiet stage. So if your mind becomes like that, Nischalada inside, then that becomes a Sarasa or lake inside the heart. Nityananda Rasalayam. Look at that when you see there. Nityananda Rasalayam. Nityananda Rasalayam. Suramanis Swandham Bhujal Ashrayam. Swacham Sad Dujasevidam Kalushakam Sadvasana Ushkradam. From the Shivananda Lahiri, this verse. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Prajamano Hamsavadam Sastiram Kim Shudrashraya Palvaram Brahmana Samjada Shramam Prapsyasi. Samjada Shramam Prapsyasi. It's saying to the mind, why do you wander around in this world which is very muddy? In this tank of muddy tanks of worldliness, or in other words, mind when it goes into the matter, in the material world towards the matter pollutes the mind. Matter pollutes the mind, isn't it? That's what the matter does. It pollutes the mind. And that situation, what if you give up this association with the world and go into the contemplation of the soul, world of the soul and the world of the matter, go back to the world of the soul inside, and there, having eternal bliss as its water, the minds of heavenly sages for its lotus flowers. Great sages, when they go to this Manasa Sarasa, in other words, this lake of the mind which is gone inside, so mind shows a lot of madness in this world, isn't it? Although we keep it under control, that's all it is. It doesn't come out. If it comes out, people will say you are crazy. Everybody is mad in this world. Don't think that we are all very saintly people. No. We are all mad. Everybody is mad in this world. It is because of this madness this world is going on like this. You can see that if you open your eyes and look around, or if you look at the newspapers, television, you will see the madness going on everywhere. Everybody is mad. But what it is most of the people have managed to somehow keep that madness inside. Never allow the madness to come out. But some people are unable to do it. They can't keep it inside. It comes out. They get into trouble. We call them crazy and we lock them up. Practically everybody should be locked up in that state if you think about it, isn't it? So, but here, Nityananda Rasalayam Brajani. So here it says here, he is addressing the mind as a hamsam, swan. Now why did he do that? Why did he do that? In the Bhagavatam you will see a similar situation. When Kamsa wanted to kill Devaki, Vasudeva says to Kamsa, you are the jewel of the Bhoja dynasty, he says. People are like that. When you know that somebody is particularly very bad, who won't give you any good vibrations, or who is always very cruel and cunning like that, Vasudeva thought, at least let me call him in a nice way, it may work. That's what Vasudeva did to Kamsa, isn't it? What did he say to Kamsa? He says, oh, you are the jewel of the Bhoja dynasty, he said. What a jewel he is, Kamsa. For what he has done. So some people, only if you do like that, it may have an impact on them. And that's exactly what Acharya does here to the mind. He says to him, you are like a hamsa of the mind. We know very well And in another place he compares mind to a monkey. So how can a monkey become a hamsam, a swan, overnight? It won't, will it? So therefore, but it is spoken in this way, so that at least the mind will be a little bit, a change will happen inside the mind. Similarly, so the kind of things what this mind does, you can never call him hamsam, is it? Except that it drives you mad day and night. So, but he called him like that. He thought at least let it come, it comes under control by doing that. It's not bad, he thought. So a hamsam is supposed to sit in that Manasa Sarasa, in Kailasam. There is only, that's where the hamsams normally present there. Swans are present in that Manasa Sarasa. So, and they call it Rajahamsam as well. Hamsam is a swan, I think that is the closest word I know about that. So, they will not go into the dirty water. They like to enjoy the clean, fresh water, where there is a lot of nice lily flowers and lotus and others. They won't like the dirty water or the dirty, but like the hogs and the crows. Hogs and the crows will find happiness in that. But the hamsam or the swans, they enjoy the pure, clear, fresh water of the lakes. So, and he says here, in these lakes, great rishis bathe there, Agastya, Vishwamitra, and many great Narayana Rishi, Vedavyas, they all bathe in that lake, Manasa Saraswati, because their ashrams are nearby. They all live there, close by, isn't it? So because they are present there, near those lakes, they bathe in those lakes before they go to see Shiva and have discussion. 4 Kumaras, they are all regular visitors there. So here, and not only that, very beautiful birds, flowers, they are also present there. So Sadvijase Vidam, he uses the word here, Dvijase Vidam, he mentions that Shambudhyana Sirovaram Brajamano Hamsavanam Shamstiram says the water in that lake is swacham, doesn't move a lot. It's a very quiet stage, very steady. Water is very steady. And Sadvija Sevidam, Dvijam. Dvija has got 2 meanings. Dvija means bird, Dvija means Brahman also. Why is that? Dvija means twice born. Birds are twice born. First they lay the egg, that's the first birth, and then the eggs open and they take birth again. So twice they take birth. Therefore the birds are called Dvija. Brahmanas are also given the name Dvija. Why? They have the first birth from the mother, and then the second birth is when they have the Upanayana ceremony, isn't it? Second initiation. Now, this causes problem because people are misunderstood that the second initiation means, I've seen a lot of devotees saying this. They have understood. As soon as I get that thread, I can go into the deity room. They understood. This is what they have understood after the second initiation. What can you do? The whole thing is such a mockery that this is not second initiation. Second initiation means self-realization has happened to that person. The birth has gone away from the body. Body is not anymore. Father, mother is not the father, mother anymore. Self-realization has happened to that person. So now you know what happens with the Brahmanas. When we have all these kind of Brahmanas in this world, what will happen? So, Sadvija Swacham Sadvija Sevitam Kalurida Sadvasana Avishkradam. Sadvasana Avishkradam. Sadvasana means that all the good vasanas in that conducive for spiritual realizations, that is pulled out from inside. That is the second initiation. So when that sadvasana doesn't come out, where is the initiation there? What will happen to that person? But it has become such a frustrating now that it is unfortunate That so much ignorance, all happening in the name of spiritual life, all this is happening. That Sarvasana Avishkritam, he says, therefore the name Dvija has been given. So now what happens after getting this? Look, I got it now. I got the thing. Now this is what I have understood about my second initiation. So here, Krishna is saying here, the Sadvasana Avishkritam, that once you have bathed in this way, in that sarasa, or dhyanam, or meditation in that saras, and normally if you bathe in somewhere, what happens? The dirt from the body goes away, isn't it? The dirt from the body goes away. But if you bathe in this manasa sarasa, what will happen is, all the durvasana goes away from inside. That is the idea behind it. All this is supposed to happen during the second initiation time. So, he mentions there, Kalusham. Kalusham means what? Kalusham means Kamam, Lobham, Krodham, Moham, Madam, Matsarya. 6 things. All these 6 things together, Kalmasham they call it, or Kalusham in short. Kama means lust. Krodha means anger. Krodha means anger. Kama, Krodha. Lobha means greed. These 3 are the main ones. Lust, anger and greed. Krishna also mentions that, isn't it? In the 18th chapter you will see there. What does Krishna say? Kamam, Krodham, Tadha, Lobham, Tasmadeva, Trayam, Tyaje, he says. Because they are such a dangerous things, these 3 windows in us, Kamam, Krodham, Lobham. All these 3 things are so powerful. Tasmadeva Trayam Tyaje, Arjuna, he says to Arjuna. So first those 3. Then the other 3, what are they? Kamam, Krodham, Lobham. Moham, Madam and Malsaryam. What are they? Moham is illusion. All living in illusion that I am in this body. Life is very nice in this world. Everything is wonderful. My family is doing well. I got a good job. I all paid all my mortgages. I have plenty of money in the bank. I'm going on holidays. This is all a part of that. Moham. Moham creates all these thoughts inside. Nothing but Moham. Illusion is teaching us all the time, telling us everything is wonderful. Whereas the coffin is ready to go anytime. So, Kamam, Krodham, Lobham. Lobham is greed. Krodham is anger and Kamam is lust. Lust means not only lust, but also includes all the desires also. That's also Kamam. So, desires including of course lust. Lust, anger and greed. Bhagavad Gita says like that, isn't it? Then we have got Moham. Then what else? Madam. Madam is the what Krishna calls as Amanitum. Amanitum Adambitvam, he says. Thinking oneself to be very important in this world, although living within this temporary material body, is thinking that I am very important in this world. That is Madam. Moham, Madam. And then what else? Matsarya. Matsarya means always in competition with others. Bhagavatam is not for those who have that nature. Normal saranam sadam vedyam. One who has freed oneself from the person who wants to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, he should free himself from this world. He is not here to compete with anyone. Because he knows there is nothing to compete here in this world. Generally people have this competition going on all the time in one way or the other, isn't it? There is so much competition. We train them from the early days itself that children to be trained to become competitive. We say you have to be very competitive, they say. You go to office, they also say you have to be competitive. Then you make you go to the customer says you are not competitive. So wherever you go, this word comes, competition, isn't it? Spiritual life is not for competition. If you want to compete, please don't stay in spiritual life, material world is open. Competition is not there. Only if you have freedom from this competitive nature, then you can advance on the spiritual path. Spiritual life is not for competition. So that is what. So all these 6 things together combined is called Kalmasha or Kalusha. These 6 things are there inside. All of us, we have it. Different degrees maybe, but it's there. When all of them are pulled out, that is what is supposed to happen during the Upanayana or second initiation. It's meant to happen. So that is the time, in other words, Jnanam, knowledge has come. That's what's given at that time through the Gayatri. Nowadays it's all become a completely, what you call a ceremony and a ritual, nothing more than that. It doesn't have any other, the same person is before and after. It remains the same. So with that knowledge, a new birth has happened to that person. New birth has happened to them. The old body person is dead. That's what happens. The old person died. Up to this Vayanam, he is supposed to have that old personality full of all these things. But that's died now, and he has taken a new birth. So, second birth. Therefore, Sadvijasevidam, great devotees who are like that state, who have gone through that second initiation, who come to that purity, they bathe in the Manasa Sarasa. So if you want to meet first class Brahmanas, comes to that Manasa Sarasa. Acharya says like that. There. So here, Kalusham, all the bad things in the mind goes away. So Kalushakrit Satvasana Vishkradam. Not only all the bad things goes away, good vasanas develop in that person. That is why in the ancient times, we're talking about even 100 years before, among the Brahmana families, this initiation of Upanayana was given such an importance that preparing themselves for the initiation was a very important task. By then, he would have studied a lot of Shastram, and the mind would have brought under good control inside, and it is ready for receiving that proper message when Gayatri is given to them. So, Sadvasana Vishkradam. Vasana has two meanings. Sadvasana means smell also. So, good smell that comes from inside. Vasana has got two kinds of vasana. Shubhavasana, Ashubhavasana. Shubhavasana means auspicious vasana. In the Bhagavatam, if you look, you will see there, Atra Sargo Visargacha Sthanam Poshanam Utaya. Uti, each canto talks about a particular subject, isn't it? Third canto is Sargam. That's where it begins. Third canto is where exactly Srimad Bhagavatam begins. So third canto is called Sargam, creation, primary creation. The fourth canto is the secondary creation, which is called Visargam. Sargam, Visargam. So, in primary creation, talks about how creation started from Krishna to Brahma. That process, Mahatattvam, Ahamtattvam, all that part of the creation. Then secondary creation begins when the creation refers to after Brahma what creation has happened. That means whatever we have created, our creations, all that part of the secondary creation. Primary creation, secondary creation. So primary creation is the Sargam, secondary creation is Visargam. So Sargam is the third canto and Visargam is the fourth canto. Sargam, Visargam. Now if you look carefully you will see the Bhagavatam. Then in Sargam, which is mainly Vidura Maitreya Samvadam, isn't it? Vidura and Maitreya is discussing, that is where Srimad Bhagavatam seriously begins there. In the second canto, what you find is Shri Brahmarshi arrived and spoke to Parikshit about the Kramamukti and Sadyomukti. Two things he spoke in the second canto. That means the process of liberation, and to a large extent he spoke about also the Ashtanga Yoga process in the second canto. But then we went back there, you will see, notice in the second canto at the end, it talks about and also in essence how the Chatushloki Bhagavatam was given to Brahma by Krishna, isn't it? Brahma receiving the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, that is all in the second canto. But in the third canto, the proper Bhagavatam begins in this way, Then Vidura goes to Maitreya Maharshi, being directed by Uddhava. Uddhava directed Vidura to go to Maitreya Maharshi. When he met Maitreya Maharshi, if you read Bhagavatam, you will see there. Maitreya Maharshi was one tradition, he came from another Bhagavata Parampara, isn't it? Sankhayana Maharshi, Brihaspati, Maitreya, they all received Bhagavatam knowledge from Sankarshana Murti, from Balaram. That is another parampara of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This parampara to Vedavyas and through Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit, this is another parampara. There is another parampara of the Bhagavatam which comes from Sankhayana Maharshi, Brihaspati, Maitreya, Uddhava. Like that there is Bhagavatam, another tradition, the Bhagavata Sampradaya. There are so many Sampradayas in this world. People are always thinking there is only 3 or 4 Sampradayas in this sphere. There is not only 4, there are so many other Sampradayas exist. Depending on which Bhagavata Sampradaya exists, Shaiva Sampradaya exists. In Shaiva tradition there are 3 or 4 Sampradayas there. Like Vaishnava Sampradaya has got this, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vaishnava, like this. There are Sampradayas in all traditions, isn't it? Now, when we discussed yesterday, Advaishta Sarvabhutanam Maitra Karma Evacha, Krishna is saying Sampradaya is necessary in this world. Why? Because to follow a particular sadhana process, a Sampradaya will help. That's what Sampradaya does. Otherwise, if you identify with Sampradaya, you will have difficulty. Because then you will think, my Sampradaya is better than his Sampradaya. It will come like that. It will turn up in that way. You can't say one Sampradaya is wrong and one Sampradaya is correct, because great personalities have appeared in all these Sampradayas. That is the problem. So, when it is like that, you can't say that one Sampradaya is inferior and another Sampradaya is superior. For propaganda's sake, you may say that. But in your understanding, if it remains like that, Advaishta Sarvabhutanam is not possible. You will have a problem there. You will have a problem there. Because as soon as you identify with one Sampradaya, you will see another Sampradaya is not, now always there is a lot of discussion about that, isn't it? How our Sampradaya is superior than other Sampradaya is. It doesn't matter if you have realized the truth, whichever Sampradaya. Realizing the truth is more important, not beating the other Sampradaya down. That is not going to get us anywhere, is it not? So people always argue. If you look into all the internet websites, the amount of argument going on, which Sampradaya is better. Everybody is arguing in this Sampradaya. Sometimes they argue like this. Krishna has 64 qualities, therefore he has 4 more than Vishnu. Or that's another issue, problem, they have to sort it out. So when is it going to come to an end, all these things? So we get caught in all these kind of things and miss the truth what we are supposed to realize here. So here what's happening is that, coming back to Bhajagovindam, says here that the Manasa Sarasa is meant for creating vasana, good vasana. What is that good vasana? In the Bhagavatam, coming back to Bhagavatam, in the 3rd canto is Sargam, 4th canto is Visargam, primary creation, secondary creation. So in primary creation, in the 2nd canto I mentioned that Krishna gave Chaturshloki Bhagavatam to Brahma. There finishes the 2nd canto. In the 3rd canto, Krishna is talking at the Vidura meant beginning itself is Vidura means Uddhava in Vrindavanam. Uddhava says to Vidura, I got Ekadashi Skandam from Krishna. That's what he said. He said, he didn't say the word Ekadasham, but I got the knowledge. What is that knowledge? Ekadashi Skandam. That's what was given to whom? To Uddhava. Uddhava got it, and Vidura heard from that, Uddhava got it. Because how did he know that? In the association of Uddhava, Vidura felt that change in him. That is how he says. He doesn't say, Uddhava, now you look a little different. You are not the same though. You got better clothes on, or you got glasses on, or anything. But what he says about Vidura, Vidura says to Uddhava, Neha prasara samplaka. Just by the presence of Uddhava, Vidura felt a change within himself. Remember yesterday we discussed this. You will not understand an advanced person, spiritually advanced person, by looking at him or by seeing his work or by seeing his activities. You will only identify him by his presence. In his presence, what happens in you, that is what will tell you whether that person's spiritual position is. Any great personality, when they are present, if it is bringing peace inside, chitta shanti, shanti inside, you can take it that shanti is coming from that person. Why is that? Inside him, there is no any of these 6 things what we spoke. It is so clear inside, like the Manasa Sarasa. It is that, like the lake, mind of lake, which is pure water inside. Similarly, because he is so pure inside, in his association, you will not have any disturbances in you. You won't experience anything within you. Normally, when we associate with people, we will get that impact from them. Is it not? Their influence will be on us. Our influence will be on them as well, in the same way. So, great devotees, great jnanis or great realized souls, in their association, we will experience that peace within. And Vidura experienced that in Uddhava's association. He mentions that, isn't it? In the Bhagavatam, Sneha Prasarasam Pluga, he says. That Sneham is Prasaram. Prasaram means it's emitting. From Uddhava's body is emitting and it is affecting him, Vidura. So Vidura says to Uddhava, what happened in Dwaraka with Krishna? So Uddhava says to him so many things there, isn't it? In the whole 3rd canto is like that. That they have all, Vidura, people whom you are asking now, they have all left this world. He says, Krishna is gone, Balarama is gone, and Vasudeva Devaki, they have all left. There is nobody there anymore, he says. At that time, Vidura felt particularly bad that he didn't see Krishna before he left. Because he served a lot. But Vidura's prarabdha was such that he could not be present when Krishna left this world. And he was feeling very disturbed over it, very upset about it. And he asked Uddhava, before Uddhava could say anything, Vidura asked a question. What was that? Uddhava, what has Krishna told you? Give that to me as well. What you got from Krishna. Basically, Ekadasha Skandha. Uddhava Vadesham, give that to me, he said. Uddhava says to Vidura, when I was, these instructions were given to me, Maitreya Maharshi was also present there. I heard Krishna saying to Maitreya like this. What was that? Just like this Uddhava is so dear to me, I had another devotee. His name is Vidura. And that Vidura, I wanted you to instruct him. And therefore, not only Uddhava, Maitreya also received Ekadasham at that time from Krishna. So I heard him saying to Maitreya Maharshi that Maitreya, you go to Haridwar, Vidura will come and see you one day and you should tell him that I was asking about him and give this transcendental knowledge to him. This is how Maitreya was sent to Haridwar. So Maitreya went and sat down in Haridwar waiting for Vidura to come. And now Uddhava is telling Uddhava was saying to Vidura, please go to Haridwar, Maitreya Maharshi is waiting for you. I don't have time, Uddhava says to Vidura. See, Uddhava says to Vidura, I don't have the time. As soon as Uddhava had Krishna's lotus feet with him, you know the shoes which Krishna used to wear, Uddhava had with him. And Krishna gave that as the last gift to Uddhava, which Uddhava took to Badrinath and which is still worshipped in the Badri temple. Badri temple, the shoes are still there, Krishna's shoes are still present in the Badrinath temple. So Uddhava handed it over there at the temple and he said to Vidura, as soon as I put these shoes on my head, I cannot check myself, control myself. I get so affected by Krishna's instructions, what he has given in the Ekadasha Skandha. I will move now from here, Vidura. If you want, Uddhava says, can I follow you? Uddhava says to Vidura, you can follow me, but you won't be able to keep up with me. You won't be able to keep up with me because as soon as I take these shoes on my head, that instructions what Krishna has given to me at the at the final before departure, that has an immediate impact on me, and I cannot stop anymore. I go from now. And that's exactly what happened. Uddhava started walking, Vidura followed him. Within a very short time, Uddhava disappeared. Vidura could not see him anymore. Then Vidura had to walk a long way to Haridwar. From Vrindavan to Haridwar, you can imagine, it's a long walk, isn't it? We are happy if you do one Vrindavan Parikrama and come back. We have done everything. Our spiritual life is over with that. But those personalities, our Vidura, he goes to Haridwar, and when he meets Maitreya Maharshi is there. If you look into Bhagavatam, you will see there, Prabhupada mentions about Maitreya Maharshi and Uddhava. He says Uddhava is a pure devotee, Maitreya Maharshi is a jnani. Yeah, you will see that. Maitreya Maharshi is a jnani, Uddhava is a devotee. But they are not competing each other. Huh? Don't get into that mood now. That's how you will see. Our mind will tell us from inside, oh, there must be, who is better now out of the two? This is how we will think about it, is it now? So these things has to come out of the head, this understanding. That if you study Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam seriously, this dirt won't get in. Saying that this is better and that is lower, this is higher. They are all Krishna's people. They have all realized Krishna. Krishna has awarded them and recognized them. Jnanis or devotees, whatever it may be. They are recognized personalities in spiritual life. And it is this Maitreya Maharshi who is instructing Vidura in the 3rd canto, 4th canto, even part of 5th canto. So how would you say that Maitreya Maharshi was not a devotee? If Krishna has said that, yes, he can accept that. But Krishna hasn't said that. Krishna sends him to Haridwar and he is instructing Vidura afterwards. Is it not? So why I was coming back to this. So 3rd canto is the Sargam, primary creation. 4th canto is the secondary creation. Atra Sargo Visargascha. Now, from these 2 cantos in the Bhagavatam, you will see one thing, that in the 3rd canto, if everything is done according to Krishna's instruction properly, if creation happens in the way Krishna has told, then there will be peace in this world. There will be always peace in this world. But if you break Krishna's law, Krishna's instructions, and if you act independently, what will happen? To show to us is the 4th canto. The 4th canto is for that purpose. That you must know these connections in the Bhagavatam, otherwise Bhagavatam is simply a story book. Bhagavatam has got a very sound and solid philosophy behind it. The 4th canto, that is why Atra Sargo Visargascha, Visargam is the secondary creation. You will see everything is gone in the 4th canto. Sati Devi, Shivavali, Lord Shiva's consort. She had to give up her body. Why? Because of Daksha's arrogance. Isn't it? That's what happened. That, the 4th canto begins with Sati Daksha's story. Why did that happen? Because of Daksha's arrogance. He did not know how to respect Lord Shiva's decision. So with the result that Sati Devi had to give up the body. What else is in the 4th canto? Dhruva Maharaj's experiences. This is it. Dhruva Maharaj's story. Dhruva Maharaj's story, what happened? So many things have gone wrong in the 4th canto. You will notice that. His stepmother, Suruchi, because of her arrogance, what happened to her? She says to Dhruva, if you want to sit in the father's lap, you have to come and take birth in my womb. Krishna could not bear that. Krishna could not tolerate that statement. That was a very heavy statement from Suruchi. So at that time, it was decided, Krishna decided that Suruchi is going to have a very hard time for that. Result was, Uttama, her son, went to the forest, Yakshas killed her, Suruchi went looking for him, she got in the forest fire and died. Suruchi is dead. If you read Dhruva's story, it is not always happiness there. There is a lot of distress in that Dhruva story. Suniti lived in a very unhappy state because Uttanavada did not recognize her properly, respect her properly, and asked her to stay outside the palace. Suruchi was the because all the Kshatriyas had many wives. And Suniti was not the favorite one, Suriji was the favorite wife, Suniti had to stay outside. And Dhruva was so disturbed over the incident what happened. Everybody knows that story, I don't have to say all that. So why I am saying this is, fourth canto, lot of tragedy in this way. Sati Devi had to give up her body. Suriji had to get caught up in the fire and die. Then what else have we got in the fourth canto? Prajina Barhi's story. Prajina Barhis, after performing all kinds of sacrifices, sitting there comfortably, thinking that I have done very well. That's what Prajina Barhis was doing, isn't it? Story of Prajina Barhis, Puranjana story. Sri Narada Maharshi comes to him one day and says to Prajina Barhis, what have you done? He says. Prajina Barhis says, I have performed so many sacrifices, he says. Well, the sacrifices were right, but do you know what's happening? He said. Prajina Barhis says, what? He says, touch me and have a look, he said. Then he touched Narada Maharshi and had a look. All the animals he has sacrificed, they were all standing there with their horns covered with iron coverings, ready to poke him when he comes out from this body. Prajina Barhis realized, nobody told me about this, he says. What should I do? So Prajina Barhis committed, because Prajina Barhis thought life in this world is meant for performing sacrifices and living a good life in the heavenly planets. This is what his understanding was. So he needed to be instructed. Sri Narada Maharshi was sent there, and then the story of Prajina Barhis, how he came to realize through the instruction of Piranjana Upakhyanam, Piranjana's story in the Bhagavatam, was spoken, and eventually Prajina Barhis understood this is all nonsense, what's going on here. He gave up his empire. Great personality he was, Prajina Barhis. In Bhagavatam, you won't find such a great, powerful king, Prajina Barhis. Prajina Barhis gives up everything, goes to the forest, engages in cultivation of spiritual knowledge, gets released from this material world once for all and goes away from here. That is the story of Prajina Barhis. But Prajina Barhis had to go through a very hard time because he spent a lot of his time in this Karmagandam thing. That's what it's called. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, that whole fourth canto is secondary creation. Secondary creation means that when people do not take Krishna's instructions, what will happen? That's what it is all about. That fourth canto is all about that, isn't it? So, now, if those things happen, when people make mistakes in life, and they have moved away from the goal of spiritual realization, what should we do with them? They require a place where they have to be properly treated for the disease what they have. In order to treat them properly, there is a place available for that, and that is the fifth canto. And therefore, fifth canto is called Sthanam. Sthanam means place where you get the treatment, the hospital. For those who have gone through the whole. Therefore, you will see the whole of fifth canto is mostly about the hellish planets, isn't it? Sargam, Visargam, Sthanam. Sthanam is that fifth canto. Sthanam. That's where the treatment is. What do they call? The Watford General Hospital or any hospital, whatever you call it, where your treatment is, you go to that place, whatever that's spoken in that fifth canto. Then, but there are others also. Even if you have gone through all hard times in life, and ultimately you did not make it in this life to the spiritual world, what should we do with them? Even if something happens in this life, Krishna is so kind to the living entity, Jiva. He will still show his mercy, and that is why that sixth canto is showing. Sixth canto is called Poshanam. Poshanam means this. And there you can see that even though Ajamila has fallen, heavily fallen, isn't it? In a big way. We say Ajamila has fallen. Compared to us, Ajamila has done better. We think, when we say this, we think, oh, we have not fallen, we are okay. But comparing to Ajamila, Ajamila had the good fortune that he had a good training in spiritual life and didn't go in the material life due to some Durvasana inside, he fell down in his life. But he didn't go to factories and working all day and night to make money. At least that desire wasn't there in Ajamla. Ajamla was free from all such bad things in his life. So, such people, personality like Ajamla, if they come to Krishna and take Krishna's shelter, they will be protected. That is what that sixth canto is all about. Every story in that sixth canto, every episode in the sixth canto, if you study, you will see Krishna's protective power, shelter of the devotee. That's what you will find there. Chitraketu's story, in the form of Rudrasura, how he was protected. That is in the sixth canto, isn't it? And so many other stories as well in the sixth canto, you will see that. Now, after that is the seventh canto. What does that mean? Seventh canto means that Sargam, Visargam, Sthanam, Poshanam. Third, fourth, fifth and sixth. The sixth canto is what is called Udi. Udi means Karma Vasana. Karma Vasana, do you know what it means? Karma Vasana is what we have inside us. Engaging in karma in several lifetimes, either in the human body or in other bodies, I don't know, whatever bodies we have gone through in different times. But even in several human bodies we may have changed before we are now here in this body. But in several bodies, whatever we have acquired as vasana, which is coming out in this life, is it not? Why we are all so different one to other? Every one of us is different, isn't it? Why? Because vasanas are different. All of us have got 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and everything similar in appearance. But in our Swabhavam we are all different. Why? Karma Vasana is different. Vasana, what we have brought with us, is different. That is why that difference. So that Karma Vasana, what is in us, how to turn that Karma Vasana in the right direction, that is what is called Uti. Uti means Karma Vasana. So Sargam, Visargam, Sthanam, Poshanam, Uti. Uti is the sixth canto, that is the Karma Vasana. So that Karma Vasana has got 2 departments. Shubha Vasana, Ashubha Vasana. Auspicious Vasanas and inauspicious Vasana. Auspicious Vasana means directing towards self-realization, spiritual life, Krishna consciousness. That's all auspicious Vasana. Inauspicious Vasana means what? All other rest. The rest, whatever, it's all inauspicious Vasana. So here, in the Shivananda Lahiri says here, that by bathing in this, he said, Swacham Sadvijasevidam Kalushagru Sadvasana Avishkradam. Sadvasana develops in a person. Sadvasana develops in a person. Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Brajamano Hamsavadam Sastiram Kim Chudra Shraya Palvalam Palvala Brahmana Samjala Shramam Prapsyasi. So, great holy men, spiritual personalities, they come and bathe in this Manasaras and they clean because of their, when they bathe in this Manasaras, the Saras gets purified. The lake gets purified because they have Sadvasanas inside. Like we say about the Ganges, what is Vidura says there in the Bhagavatam, that Ganges gets purified, everybody goes and pollutes Ganges, isn't it? When we all go and bathe in the Ganges, what happens? Ganges gets polluted. Not because of the soap or the cream or the other things what we use, the dirt from the body, that Ganges can handle it. But the dirt inside, what we have got with us. So because of that we pollute the Ganges. Vidura says there that even though it's like that, also there are great personalities come and bathe in the Ganges. Very great devotees, great jnanis. Therefore, even though we pollute it, they purify it. That is why Ganges is still able to go on saying everything is considered auspicious with the Ganges. Because of this, great personalities, they bathe in the Ganges. They bathe in the Ganga river. Because they know who Ganga is. When they bathe in Ganga river, they know who Ganga is. All the great acharyas, all the great devotees, they bathe in Ganga river because of her great position, what she is, isn't it? So, because like that, You will see there that Kim Shudrashaya Balvalam Brahma Samjada Shramam Prapsyasi. So that cleans away, when they bathe, it cleans away all the dirt from inside, all the dirt from inside. So, coming back, Brahmanas also have two births. One's the normal birth from the mother, and the second one after the Upanayana ceremony. So here you can see that Shubhavasana means Bhakti, Jnanam, Vairagyam, austerity, Tapasya, Sadvasana, Vishkanam. These are all Sadvasana. These are all the good vasanas in a person. When there is Bhakti, when there is Jnanam, when there is Vairagyam, and when there is austerity, all these qualities, when you see in a person, you have to take it that he has good vasanas inside. That's how you see this. When these qualities you see in a person, you have to take it there is good vasana. Shambhudhyana Sagodham. That he has based in this knowledge. Okay. So, Manikarnika Gatham, coming back to Banaras. When he wrote this, Manikarnika Gatham, that is the bathing ghats. It has its physical manifestation in Banaras. When you go, you will see there that when you bathe there, that is not Gangasnana. Gangasnana Manikarnika is famous. Acharyas, devotees, they go to this Manikarnika. If you go there, you will see on the side different mutts from different traditions. They have all built their ashrams, because from their acharyas and the teachers, when they come, they have a place to stay there. Different traditions. All of them have their Ramanuja tradition, Shankaracharya's tradition, Vallabhacharya's tradition. All of them have their different, you can say their ashrams, or built there for them. And all of them have their own libraries. And all of them have a lot of ancient texts, Vedic literature. From their acharyas, what they have written, you will find them in all their libraries. So here he mentions there, Benares is that place where you bathe in the Ganga River, and that purifies inside. It will happen there. So he compares that there's a famous Shiva temple there called Vishwanath temple also, and Vedeham, the material body, considers itself as Kashi temple. Kashi temple. Sharira Deho Devalaya Proktaha. This material body is like the Kashi temple. Why? Because inside he is present there. Krishna is present there. Soul is present there inside. So here he is present there. He is asking there, living in Kashi is nice, but what is the use if you do not purify yourself in that way? You have to see the Kashi, what is inside. He mentions there. You have to see the Kashi, what is inside. In Kashi Panchanam, the 5 verses, Acharya Swamiji mentions about that. So, the Kashi, if you see Kashi which is inside, if you see the Kashi inside, only then you will know the glory of the Kashi which is outside. In order to understand the greatness of the Kashi outside, you have to have that self-realization, in other words. Otherwise you won't know the Kashi. What will happen is, people will go to Kashi. When they go to Kashi, what happens is, Kashi is also a bit like Vrindavan in many ways. Lot of sewer water everywhere, lot of filth, and hogs wandering around like you see in Vrindavan sometimes in the same way. So many times people go there and they see this and say, Vrindavan or Kashi doesn't matter. They'll go and come back and say, what is this, such a filthy place? It is not like this Bhagavatam says about Vrindavan. Or similarly about Kashi also. They say, this is not we have to organize everything and get it right. So first thing, we start the development of Vrindavan. And but these people who are going in that direction, they have not understood Vrindavanam, or they have not understood Kashi either. Kashi or Vrindavanam is consciousness inside. Only if you have realized it, you will understand the glory of the external manifestation of Vrindavanam or external manifestation of Kashi. So, many times you will see a lot of spiritual discussions, debates between great devotees, acharyas happening in Kashi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on his way to Vrindavanam, he spent time in Kashi, isn't it? He had a lot of discussions, stayed in Chandrasekhara Acharya's house, and their discussions happened between, there was a Maharashtra Brahma came to see him, there was discussion about Shastram there also, and you can see from that, people say that he went to Kashi because all the Mayavadis were present there. But strictly speaking, it is not that. Every Acharya has gone to Kashi because of the importance of Kashi in the Vedic tradition. The place where all the great scholars had spent a considerable time in Kashi in debating upon the Vedic philosophy. So, another name for Kashi is Varanasi. Varana and Asi, two words. Madhyame Panchakrosha, 5 krosham they call it, the land that is in between. So that is Varanasi. So there is also in the Padma statement, I think it is in Padma, that if you leave your body in Varanasi, like we say about Vrindavanam, if you leave your body in Varanasi, at the time of leaving the body, Lord Shiva comes himself personally and chant the holy name of Ramchandra in your ears. Chant the holy name of Ramchandra in your ears. That's why in the ancient times, many people went to, great devotees, when they left home, they went to Vrindavanam or they went to Benares or they went to Kashi. For this reason only. So, that Rama Mantram, which is also called as Taraga Mantram, that means if you hear that Taraga Mantra from Shiva in your ears, you don't have to accept another body again. You don't have to accept another body again. So that is of course the realization of the Jnanis, right? Jnanis. So here, when we see Kashi, we see the dirt inside, how much dirty the whole place is. But if you see Kashi like that, we won't know about Kashi. Kashi is considered to be like a mirror. If we have a lot of dirt inside, we will see a lot of dirt in Kashi. That is how it is. So, once we have realized the truth, and then if you go to Kashi, you won't find it dirty. You won't make the complaint about the dirty. So, because Lord Shiva is himself present there, who is also addressed as Jagadguru in the Brahma Sampradayam, there is a full Vaishnava Sampradayam also beginning with Lord Shiva, isn't it? So quite often what our tendencies are that when people go to Kashi, they do business there and they go to Kashi. So, because we get association of great sadhus, great devotees in such places, therefore that is the greatness. So, that is where Acharya Swamiji was walking through one of the alleys at that time. And this old person who was over 80 years old, he is chanting this Dukranj Karane, Dukranj Karane, Dukranj Karane. So he stopped there, went up to him and says to him that, what is this Dukranj Karane? He says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Call him straight as Mudha, he says to him. Samprate Sanihive Kale, at the time of death, Nahi Nahi Rakshati, none of this is going to help you, this so-called Dukranj Karane. Dukranj Karane is not going to help you. Now, actually, Acharya Swamiji is not a person who feels unhappy when somebody is studying and developing knowledge. But in this particular case, he felt unhappy. The reason being that normally you should not get upset if somebody is learning grammar. That Dukranj Karane is a Vyakarana Sutra, grammar sutra it is, grammar. And grammar is a tradition in the Shastra, isn't it? Apart from the Vedam, Upavedam, then you have got this Vyakaranam, Shiksha, Niriktam, Kalpam, Jyotisham, these are all the Upavedams, the sub-branches. When you have studied the 4 major ones, the Vedam, Samvedam, Yajurvedam, Rigvedam, Atharvavedam, the 4 major Vedas, and then that is 4, and then we have this 6. That is where this Vyakaranam comes. Only once he has studied all these things he is supposed to be educated. Otherwise he is not educated. In the Vedic tradition, he is educated if he has studied all this Shastra. So Vyakaranam or grammar is a part of that. Acharya Swami would be upset about it. But why he got upset was that Vyakaranam Vedasya Vedaha. That is the statement in the Vyakaranam. That if you want to, Vedam has come, also has a close relationship with Vyakaranam at that, or grammar at that time. But what upset him was, purpose of studying Vedam is not to understand grammar, it is self-realization. Realizing the self who we are, that is the purpose of Vedam. Vedam is teaching us that thing. How quickly people get distracted from that. Have you noticed that? They come to spiritual life and then they look at Vedas and the Shastras and they think, wow, such a big, huge field. Somebody becomes an astrologer. After they wanted to become a devotee first. And then he start thinking, oh, everything is astrology, he says. They go after the astrology. Somebody then he says, wow, Ayurveda, what a beautiful branch. They go in the Ayurveda direction. Somebody else who gets attracted by something else in the Veda, Gandharva Veda, wow, music, what a beautiful branch of Veda. So many nice ragas and music, whole thing is music is Veda. They come to that conclusion. So, and another person who wants to know about archery, the art of fighting, he sees the Dhanurveda and he says, we had all this knowledge before. They want to find out how Arjuna had fought this whole Mahabharata war alone and how could he make it. He goes into the Dhanurvedam direction. All this is there in the Vedam. It is all a part of the Vedam. But they are not ultimately the goal of Vedam. Goal of Vedam is to get us out of this material body once for all. Not to come back and get another body like this, or to become an expert in the archery in the next life, or to be expert in the grammar in the next life, or to become an expert musician in the next life, or to become a good Ayurvedic physician in the next life. None of them is the goal of the Vedam. Vedam has only one goal to tell us. That is why Upanishads do not touch any of these things. Upanishads has only one thing to tell us. What do they say to us? Upanishad says to us, this body, before it leaves, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yasha Brahmisthiti Partha. It says there in the second chapter, isn't it? What does it say? Yasha, that Brahmisthiti, before this happens, before this body drops, Krishna says, before this body drops, Arjuna, if you can get that state, you can escape from here. Esham Brahmisthiti Partha. Nainam prapya vimukhyati stitvasyam andakalevi brahmanavana marchari. That is the goal. Somehow or the other, that is the way of spiritual and godly life. After attaining which, a man is not bewildered. Being so situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. In other words, self-realization, Krishna is saying to us, is the only goal of the Vedam. Not all the other things, but what is happening mostly is people come to, they realize that Vedam has to offer so many things and they get distracted. They get distracted at that. And same distraction has happened to this person also, this old man. He is at the age of 80, he is sitting there and studying grammar. Grammar itself is not a very interesting subject, is it? It's a very dry subject. But on the other hand, you need grammar, otherwise you will be speaking. Whatever we speak won't make any sense. So therefore, some rules are required to control our speech and what we write to communicate everything. So, and in Sanskrit, grammar is the most difficult part of all other languages compared to English or German. German is more difficult, but Sanskrit is still more difficult. So, you can see that his attention went into the grammar. So he says to him that what is the use of all these things? What is the purpose of the Vedic literature? Only for self-realization. Only for self-realization. Because in one life, you can't do everything. Suppose you want to study all the Gandharva Vedam, Dhanurvedam, Ayurvedam, and similarly this Vyakaranam, Kalpam, Niruttam, Jyotisham, endless Chandasa, endless it is. And And if you think that, oh, I have to master everything, whole Vedam in this lifetime, it is not possible. Nobody can do that. Nobody is able to do that. That is why we need this direction from the Acharyas. They have come and told us that they all agree on one thing, whether it is Shankaracharya, Ramanuja, or Madhva, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They all agree on this one thing. Purpose of Vedam is to realize the truth. That much agreement is there. On the process there may be changes of opinion, difference of opinion. But the goal is concerned, the ultimate goal of human life is self-realization. On that there is no disagreement among the Acharyas also. So, Sri Narada Maharshi went to see his spiritual master. Narada Maharshi has a spiritual master. Who is that? The four Kumaras. Not Brahma. Brahma is in the Parampara, as we say, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, like that we say. But just because he is in one Parampara, Narada Maharshi doesn't say to all the other Paramparas, look, you are all not bona fide, I am the only one bona fide. He wouldn't say that. Sri Narada Maharshi will never say that. Narada Maharshi goes to Kumaras for instructions. The four Kumaras, Sanat Kumara, Sanaga, Sananda, Sanadana and Sanat Kumara. Four Kumaras, they are Sri Narada Maharshi's teachers. Especially Sanat Kumara Maharshi. So Sanat Kumara instructs him. Sanat Kumara is the Manasaputra, isn't it? They were born from the mind of Brahma. From Lord Brahma's mind they were born. Kumaras were born from the mind of Lord Brahma. And Narada Maharshi wanted to get instruction from Sanat Kumara. So what did he say to Sanat Kumara? He says to Sanat Kumara, I studied all the Vedam. Rigvedam, Yajurvedam, Samavedam, Atharvana Vedam. Then what did I study? I studied Shiksha, Vyakaranam, Nirudham, Chandasa, Jyotisham. All the other 6 Upavedams also, I have studied them all, he said. In addition to that, I have studied Itihasams. Ramayana, Mahabharatam, I have studied them as well. All the Puranas I have studied. Not only that, I have studied all the music and dance, everything. Narada Maharshi says, I have studied all of them. All Vidya, all these Vidyas, I have mastered them, he says. But still, I am not having any peace inside. This was Narada Maharshi's question to Sanat Kumara Maharshi. This comes in this whole Chandogya Upanishad is a conversation between Sri Narada Maharshi and Sanat Kumara Maharshi. That is what that happens. So, Narada Maharshi goes to, I think we'll have to stop. It's 5 minutes. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srinarada Maharshi goes to Sanatkumara Maharshi and says to him that I have studied all the Vedas, all the Shastram, Upavedam, Rigvedam, Yajurvedam, Samvedam, Atharvana Vedam, all the four Vedam, and then Shiksha, Vyakaranam, Niruttam, Chandasya, Jyotisham. They are the sub-branches of the Vedic knowledge. I have studied all that, plus I have studied all the Idihasam, Puranam, everything, and music, dance, Sangeetam, Nrittam, all these Vidya, these are all considered to be Vidya. All of them I have learned, but I have no peace inside, he says. I have no peace inside. So what is the purpose of studying? Purpose of studying is to have some peace inside. Ultimately to get that Shanti, what Krishna talks about in the Bhagavad Gita. If there is no Shanti, Krishna says, Ashandasya Kutasukham. Where is the happiness in life? Shanti is the goal, the peace inside. So he says to him, I have studied all that, but I have no Shanti. What did Sanatkumara Maharshi says to him? Sanatkumara Maharshi says to him, all that what you have studied is only the sound. The sound, only that what you have studied. In other words, sound you can reproduce. Every knowledge you can record it in a tape recorder or in a computer and reproduce it. But tape recorder and computer won't have any change in that, isn't it? Because there is no consciousness in there. The difference between tape recorder and us is this. We have got consciousness. Tape recorder doesn't have any consciousness. But because we have consciousness, whatever knowledge that has gone in, if we just repeat the sound, it's no good enough. It has to change the consciousness. That is why we study. We study for that purpose, to change our consciousness, to make it Krishna conscious, in other words. That's why we study. Tape recorder can do exactly the same thing. But because there is no consciousness in the tape recorder, it won't make any difference. In fact, as far as sound is concerned, tape recorder or a computer can reproduce it better than us. Is it not? They can reproduce it better than us. We may make mistakes, but once you are recorded and given, it will come out in the correct way as it's given. So, address it. That's what Sanatkumara Maharshi says to him at that time, to Narada Maharshi. Sanatkumara says that what you have got now is sound. All the Vedas, you got the sound of that. All the hymns you have learned, Shastra you have learned, you got all the sound, all the verses, everything. But you have no realization, in other words. Therefore, never to become a sound reproducing machine again, he says to him. Not to make it become a sound reproducing machine here. That is not our goal. Our goal is not that. Whatever we have studied or hear or learn, if it stays in the mind and intelligence, it is no use. If it just remains in the mind and intelligence, it is useless. Material science, if it stays in the mind or intelligence, it's sufficient. Rather, it's better if it stays there. It doesn't get deeper than that. If it goes too deeper, it will go crazy. So, material knowledge is concerned, it should stay there only. It should go deeper than that. Whereas spiritual knowledge is concerned, unlike material knowledge, it has to go into the consciousness and realize it, in other words. Realization must happen, otherwise it remains simply as a sound. Nothing but a sound. That's all it is. That's why in the Upanishads you will see that great sages, they did not write anything, they did not record anything, they did not keep it in that way. Everything was in consciousness. They spoke from the consciousness, their realizations. All Upanishads are their realizations, are they not? Krishna didn't give them a CD and tell them, no, you study this. No, that's not how it was transmitted. It was transmitted like Krishna did to Brahma, isn't it? Brahma, they learned it, got it from Krishna how? Through realization. Tene Brahma Hridaya. Hridaya means consciousness. Hridaya means consciousness. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adivame Muhyandiyal Surya
Kasmayena vibhasidoya madulo jnana pradipa pulam twadruvena janaradaya mune krishnaya tudruginam. All that parampara, Bhagavatam, all Srimad Bhagavatam was transmitted from Krishna to Brahma through heart to heart, through the consciousness to consciousness, bodham to bodham, awareness to awareness. Similarly, from Brahma to Narada Maharshi, again, that is why in the Bhagavatam it is, when you read that verse, if you get that subtlety of that verse, you will really enjoy it. Where it says that Krishna got into Brahma, sat there and heard Bhagavatam. What does that mean? It's not that physically Krishna went and sat there. From consciousness to consciousness, the knowledge flowed from Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narada. Again it says, Krishna went and sat in Narada Maharshi's heart, spoke Bhagavatam from Brahma's heart, and received it in Narada Maharshi's heart. Sitting in Narada Maharshi's heart, he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. And sitting in Vedavyasa Maharshi's heart, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam. Why is it spoken like that? To make it very clear to us, this Srimad Bhagavatam will not be transmitted through the sound, it will be transmitted from consciousness to consciousness. Always, it is like that. So, Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Vedavyasa, Brahma to Narada Maharshi, Narada Maharshi to Vedavyasa. From Vedavyasa to Sukadeva Goswami, you don't see him, Vedavyasa saying to Shubham Rishi, here is the Bhagavatam book, I have written this book, have a look at it. He didn't say that. What did he do? He taught him again from consciousness to consciousness. And similarly, Shukra Brahmarshi also didn't give a copy of the Bhagavatam to Parikshit. Consciousness to consciousness. And only in that way, if it gets transmitted, it's of any use to anybody. Otherwise, it's useless. It is no benefit. Just by memorizing a lot of verses in the Bhagavatam or reading a lot of times to think that I understood Bhagavatam will be a mistake. Bhagavatam is to experience. It has to come in the realization. So, it should not stay in the mind and intelligence. It should not stay in that state, in the intellectual state or the mental state. So many people who are in the modern times, who are great intellectuals, highly intellectual people, like we mentioned, Prabhupada also mentions about Radhakrishnan, Dr. Radhakrishnan. Highly learned, highly intelligent, but at the time of death, he could not remember his name. What we call today as dementia or Alzheimer, whatever that disease. He couldn't even remember his own name. This is why we were saying the other day that whatever you do in spiritual life through mind and intelligence, you should not don't expect anything in return from that. It is possible at the time of death, they can all fail. That faculty of mind or faculty of intelligence, it could fail and then finish. All your so-called learning and energy you spent in learning and intelligence what you have utilized, all that becomes a waste at that time. So, that's that. So he says to him that the problem is, he says, who Sanat Kumara Maharshi says to our Narada Maharshi, problem is that you are Alpam, you are not Bhuma. That's how he answered. Only 2 words. You are Alpam, you are not Bhuma. Alpam means we are Alpam at the moment. Alpam means we are limited. Limited to what? Limited to the body. Body, mind, intelligence, these are all limitations on us. Is it not? So when we are limited by various upadhis, we feel limited to the body. Is it not? Like we think ourselves to be the body. Therefore, we think that we have no existence elsewhere. Whereas Sukadeva Goswami's case, what do they say? Tam sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. Same thing about Jataparada. Same thing about Dattatreya in the Bhagavatam. They are all personalities who are present everywhere. Dattatreya Maharshi, when Ekanath Swami and his spiritual master Janardana Swami, both of them, Janardana Swami is a great devotee of Dattatreya. Dattatreya was talking to Janardana Swami and giving darshanam to Ekanath Swami while he was bathing in the river at the same time. Sadashiva Brahmendra, he gave up his body in 5 different places at the same time. Why? Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Being able to present everywhere. That is when you become Bhuma. Alpam means when you are limited to the body, limited to the mind, and got stuck in that, thinking that I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intelligence, I am this ego, then you are Alpam. Sanatkumara Maharshi says to Narada Maharshi, at the moment the problem is that you have studied all this, you got the sound right, but realization is not there. So, this is not good enough. He says, you have to know what is Bhuma. Bhuma means that when we are present in everything, everywhere, that means in the realized state, what will happen? When everything outside, Sanatkumara Maharshi says that, what realizing after that, everything that is outside you goes away. Yatra na anyat pashyati, na anyat shrunoti, na anyat vijanati sa bhumaha. In other words, yatra na anyat pashyati. What does that mean? Na anyat pashyati means that you are not seeing anything else separate from you. Yatra na anyat pashyati, because everything is within us. We are that. Tattvamasi, the 4th Mahavakyam in the Upanishad says that we ourselves identifying with the body because we have lost our identity. This is the greatest loss what we have, our identity loss. People say it's identity theft when you lose your credit card. But this identity what we have lost now is the greatest loss what we have. Because we don't know what we are now, isn't it? Wandering around in this world without knowing which direction to go. That's our present state, is it not? Orphans, practically like orphans living in this world. There is no goal. Where we have come from, we don't know. Where we are going, we don't know. What are we doing here, we don't know. Most of the answer is no, no, no. So, this situation is Alpam. This situation is Alpam. Bhuma means pure consciousness, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupam, which is present everywhere. And when it is limited by a body, it is called Alpam. When it is released from the body, when self-realization happens, it's called Bhuma. It's called Bhuma. So that is what it says here. Yatra na anyat pashyati. Chandogya says this. Chandogya is saying, Yatra na anyat pashyati, where you do not see anything outside you. Everything is within you. That oneness of the realization. Na anyat shrunoti, you are not hearing anything separately from what you are hearing already. Separated from you, nothing else exists. Na anyat vijanati, you don't know anything else which separately exists from this. Sa bhumaha, that is bhuma state. So, where you don't see something different, or you don't see something, hear something different, or you don't realize something different from yourself, and that one principle alone, so which is addressed as that experience when it comes, and when ultimately Upanishads have put one more restriction on that says there, and there is nothing else to be known after that, that is Bhuma. That is the way Upanishads mentions that one principle, non-dual. In the Bhagavatam, that words if you look, Vatandidam tattvavidam tattvam yajnanam advayam. Advaya jnanam it is called. Advaya means what? Advaya means this. No, after this knowledge there is nothing outside that to know, to be known. I know it's a little difficult to what does that mean, isn't it? It means this, that this is that knowledge, after that there is nothing else to be known. Every other knowledge, for example, you take any other branch of knowledge in this world, suppose medicine or any science subject, it's always changing, more to know about it. No time you will say that you have completely got all the knowledge about a particular subject, is it not? Whether it is medicine or engineering or computers or whatever it is, it's always growing and growing. You have to acquire more and more knowledge all the time. But this knowledge is such, after knowing it, you will say there is nothing to be known after that. Only if you can say that possible, it's only possible after this realization, self-realization in other words. So that is why Bhuma means Everything else is alpam. Alpa means everything is in the Dvaitam. It's in the Dvaitatanam. Like everything will leave us one day. Everything will leave us one day. Therefore, Sanatkumara Maharshi says to Narada Maharshi at that time, the only thing that will stay with you is this knowledge of the soul. Because here what happens is, when you have realized it, you become that. You become that knowledge. That is why Vadandida Tattvaidam Tattvam Yel Jnanam Advayam, it says. Jnanam is Advayam. It doesn't have any personality associated there, but those who want to associate with that Jnanam in the form of personality, Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. That is how you have to understand that verse. Brahmedi, Paramatmedi, Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. Bhagavatam says there, isn't it? But what is the origin? Jnanam Advayam. Vatandigat Tattvavidam Tattvam Yat Jnanam Advayam Brahmedi Paramatmedi Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. So when that Jnanam, that is what exists, that knowledge, that realization, that's what exists. So Bhagavan Krishna is unlimited, Ananda Vastu. Therefore he is another name. Krishna is addressed as Bhuma. Bhuma means unlimited. You can never go. And knowing Krishna, realizing Krishna means nothing else to be known after that. You don't have to know. Yad vijnanatam sagurumeva abhigachyat shamilpani shotriyam brahmanishtam. There is nothing else to be known after realizing Krishna. All other knowledge, after realization, you will still feel something not fulfilled yet. You still feel that you need to know something more. This one knowledge, spiritual knowledge, after realization, you will feel that there is nothing to be known after that. That is the difference. So here, Narada Maharshi says to him, I have studied all that. Sanatkumara Maharshi says to him, do not study these subjects alpam. Because what knowing after that, once you have realized after that, or in other words, when this realization has happened inside, then you will not go looking for knowledge again. That is what you should get. You should not have to continue searching for the knowledge again. Nowadays people go looking for knowledge everywhere, is it not? They go to all kinds of universities and all kinds of institutions looking for knowledge. They'll say, because they are feeling something soft inside, not fulfilled inside. But spiritual knowledge is such that once it has come, there is no more inquiry after. All inquiry stops with self-realization. All inquiry stops with self-realization. In other words, when Krishna appears in the heart, that's what self-realization means. When Krishna appears in the heart, then you will not inquire anymore after that. No more inquiry after that. In other words, all knowledge, that is what it says. With this knowledge, all other knowledge is included in that. When self-realization happens, you don't have to study separately physics, chemistry, biology, zoology, all kinds of other things. All knowledge is included in that. That is the greatness of this knowledge, Shastra. That is why Vedas are stressing on this one point, isn't it? Tad vijnanartham sagurumeva abhigacche. For that vijnanam, one should approach a spiritual master. It says in the Vedam. But all other knowledge, are they not required? Then the question will come, isn't it? Should I not go to uni? Should I not get all these degrees what they give you there? They say yes. For Vyavaharam you need all that. For business in this world, to keep this body going, you need all those things. But that's all. But just like people, Acharya Swamiji's question to this old man who was studying Dukranj he says to him, you are chanting this Dukranj but is this the time in life to study this Vyakarana grammar? No. That is his question. Just like when we get old, we should behave like old people, isn't it? We should behave like old people. According to the time. In the youth you behave in one way, and in the old age you behave in a different way. In the old age, if you behave like a young man, people will make fun of you. Would that not? They'll think that you are straight. Sometimes you see people, they want to become young. They do all sorts of things to the body. And they will behave like young people. And then it becomes a... So, everything has its own beauty. Old age also has its own beauty. But you have to be like that. It's not that when you get old, the hair will go grey, the hair will fall off, the teeth will go away, all those things. Body will become weak. That is the very nature of the body. But it has its own beauty. In that old age also, it has its own beauty. And at the same time, but if they start dressing up like young people, then that is not a very interesting thing. But he won't become young by dressing up like that, is it not? So, Vardhakyam, old age also, old age has to stay like the old age. So, Acharya Swamiji says to this old person, Samprapte sannihive kale, nahi nahi rakshadi dukrunja karane, he says to him. He says, when Yama comes to you, what will you do with this dukrunja karane? That was his question. When Yama comes at the last minute, when you get older, you think about it more. When you are young, you don't worry. But when Yama is coming and asking you to, inviting you to his world, if you tell him Dukkunj karne to Yama, is he going to stop coming to you? That's why he was asking this question. So this Dukkunj karne is nothing but representation of all the other knowledge, except the spiritual knowledge. So that is what is in the Upanishads. They call it as Abharavidya. Remember? Abharavidya. In the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking about Paravidya and Abharavidya, isn't it? Bhumi apanalavayu kharmano buddhirevaja ahankara idiyame bhinna prakriti ashtada aparayamidasthanim prakratim vidhime param jivabodham mahabaho edam dharine jagat. There itself Krishna has spoken about Param and Aparam. So, all Vidya, what falls in this category of Abharavidya includes all the material knowledge. All the material knowledge is included in Abharavidya. What else is included? All the Vedam, Upanishads, all Shastram, and all the Upavedam, what we have spoken about, they are also included in the Abharavidya if you have not realized them. That's also Abharavidya. That is how it is. So, realization is more important. All Vedam, all the Upanishads, if you have studied them, it's no good. Only if you have realized them, then it is Paravidya. If you have not realized them, they are also Abharavidya. Srimad Bhagavatam, if it is not realized, Bhagavatam is Abharavidya. Bhagavad Gita, if it is not realized, it is Abharavidya. If it is realized, it is Paravidya. That is how it is. That is how important realization is. That is why we have to throw away all these courses and seminars. It's all complete rubbish. It's not going to get you anywhere in spiritual life. Stress should be on realizing the truth, what is there in the Shastra. Otherwise, what will happen? We'll keep on studying this without understanding that it is all Abharavidya. As long as we keep it as Abharavidya, it will remain as Abharavidya. It is we who make that decision whether it's Paravidya or Abharavidya, according to how we take it, how we realize it. If you have realized Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, it is Paravidya. If you have not realized it, it's Abharavidya. It is Abharavidya. So therefore, Acharya Swamiji in Bhagavad Gita's commentary, in the beginning itself he says, Abharavidya, Avidya. He says, Abharavidya is Avidya. Because Avidya is this. You have studied all Upanishads, studied Bhagavad Gita, but nothing has happened in you, in your realizations. What your Avidya still. There is Avidya there in you. It hasn't gone yet. So therefore, he told his disciples also, it's no good in teaching, learning all these things if it's not happening now, right now, here. He said, Abharavidya, Avidya. Abharavidya is Avidya. It's also Avidya. He mentions that. So whatever name you give it to that, the knowledge in the Bhagavatam, knowledge in Bhagavad Gita, knowledge knowledge in Upanishads, it's all one and the same thing, is it not? The knowledge is the same thing, spoken in different ways. Spoken in different ways. So, even though you may call it as Shastram as Paravidya, it remains as Aparavidya. What is the reason? What is the reason for that? Because just like they call in Shastram as Marumaricika. Marumaricika means mirage. In the desert, you look far away, you see there is water. Yeah? You go there, when you get there is no water there. But standing here at a long distance, you see there is water. Now, that you are very thirsty, that water cannot quench your thirst. It is of no use to you, that water what you have seen from here. Is it not? You look from here at a long distance, you saw the water there, thinking that water will quench my thirst. I went there and I looked, there was no water there. Similarly, all these Shastram also, if it has not become any good use to you, what good is it? What's the use of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam then? So that is why it's saying here that when you are very thirsty and you want water, only water will solve the problem. Suppose you are very thirsty, and if I come and tell you, you know what water is? 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen. Will that solve the problem? That won't solve the problem, would it? So similarly, and water has so many different names for the water, isn't it? So whatever it is, so the thing is that unless water you have it, your thirst won't go. Similarly, today what we need is realization of the truth. If Shastram is not giving that to you, then it is also the same situation like the mirage. It's not going to solve the problem. So Aparavidya, the nature of Aparavidya is like this. It is of no use to you after a particular limit. After a particular limit, it is no use to you. So that is why Acharya, when he wrote his commentary, he mentions there, Vedantam is for self-realization. If you are not realizing the truth, don't waste your time, he says. Give these strong warning. Therefore, you won't get many people to come to spiritual life. You can get masses to come, 100,000 people, big programs, everything you can run. But where is the realization at the end? They will all come, they will go back the same way they have come. That's all it is. Nothing else is going to change there. So whether it is Vedantam or whether it is Tarkashastram, Tarkam is the logic which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to teach. That one, everything, if Vedantam goes in that direction, then it is useless. So for example, Vedantam is a very, Vedantam is a very inspiring subject for many people because of the strength of the philosophical presentation behind it. It's very difficult to argue against that, the strength of the Vedantic position. Because unlike any other religious process, if Vedas are standing today respectfully in this world, being honored and respected by others, it's purely because of the knowledge side of it. Because of the knowledge in the Veda. And Vedanta is nothing but that knowledge part of it, taken out from the Veda, is the Vedanta, isn't it? So all great, even Western philosophers, they have accepted that Vedanta is one of the top contender. It is not an ordinary religion in the other sense. Whereas many other religions, they find it very difficult to interact with because many of them do not present in a philosophical level in a higher understanding of the presence of the divinity in a person, of the soul's presence in anyone. That's very difficult. Like the way Bhagavad Gita has done, or Brahma Sutra has done, or Upanishads have done. So Vedanta, which has taken up from Upanishads, Brahma Sutra and Bhagavad Gita, they have a certain capacity to penetrate through our heart and break through that ignorance and bring a proper knowledge inside. That capacity is God, provided one has gone in that, trained in that way, or taken up that seriously. So that Vedanta is meant for self-realization, to show us the soul. That is the purpose. To show us the soul. So instead, realizing that beauty of the soul, experience that self-realization, if it simply becomes a process where you discuss and argue and teach others like they do in the university and other places, then it is Abharavidya. The same Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam we are studying. The same Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, if devotees or jnanis are studying, that is Paravidya. The same thing when it is studied in the university, it is Abharavidya. When it gets into the hands of university professors, lecturers and others, when they teach that, it is Abharavidya. When it comes, that is why Prabhupada was very firm about that. Don't go to these universities to study spiritual life, he said. Because you won't get anywhere. And today what do? That's the only thing we are doing now. We made the whole thing a university degree. This is where it is. And we say we are following that. And we study about our Chinese, what they did and what they have not done. And they're like, we don't follow them. We are doing our own way. That is how the influence, the strong influence of the education. So here it says here that that the idea is this, that if self-realization happens, it does not happen. One who has got intelligence, what is the symptom of that intelligence? He should have discrimination within. He should have discrimination inside. Because if you want to study Tarkam, logic, you can study, there is nothing wrong in that. If it helps you to fill your belly, it's fine. You can study Bhagavatam if it helps to fill your belly, that's okay. But that will not get you the truth. That will not get you the truth. So, but if you want to have realization, then you have to change. You have to change. So, if you talk in terms of the modern language, if you discuss about the water, we'll get an example like that. Water means say hydrogen and oxygen. If you talk in that way, that is alright. You can understand the theory behind the water, but that doesn't solve the thirst, isn't it? Vridha kandakshobham. You can keep on discussing about water hours and hours, about the water. And all there, what you are doing is, you are using your intelligence, taking it there and wasting it there. So by doing that, the water will get dried up in the throat. That's all what will happen. So, when in Shivananda Lahiri, when he wrote that, he mentions there that he also mentions there that if my bhakti, is only ends up in this Gadova Muktindo Pyanurabija Dhumo Agni Achalaha Padova Tandova Pariharavikim Khora Shamanam Vridha Kandakshobham Vakasi Tarasa Tarkavachasa Padambhojam Shambho Vaja Paramasukham Paramasukhayam Brajashuti Paramasukhayam Brajashuti. That he is talking about the intelligence. He says, if intelligence is only used Gadova Matpindova, in other words, in the Tarkam, Sanskrit Bhasha, language also, in the Tarkam, it's a big subject there are experts in that. And at one time, Navadvip was very famous for Tarkam. Many scholars in Tarkam came from Navadvip. And obviously it was probably in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. All the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and others, they come from that tradition of Tarkashastra. So here, although we referred to him as a Vedantist later, in his time he has studied Tarkam. There were many scholars who were Tarkam. There is this whole stories about the Tarkashastram, how it developed in Navadvip at that time. So Gadova and Pindova, they have this way of arguing each other about the Ghadam and Matham. The earth makes the pot. Pot is made from the earth. Now, when the earth is broken up, pot is broken up, it becomes again earth. So this way, about the lot of things, logic in relationship with that, they can argue for hours together about it. That is Tarkam. Tarkashastram is like that. They will turn that into... Nowadays also we do the same thing. Like the scientists are saying, there is molecules, then there is atoms inside that. And so many ways we try to split up things, isn't it? So Tarkashastram also does the same thing. But after studying all these things, Acharya Swamiji says, what is the use? What do you gain from that at the end? Because except that you are in a situation that even to repel, you will not be able to do anything with Yama when he comes. When he comes, you will have nothing, you couldn't do anything. That all this time you have wasted in drying up your throat, it's all a waste of time. And therefore, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. That is the answer. Go to Krishna, surrender unto him and take Krishna shelter. So saying that, so you will see here that many devotees have made this opinion about spiritual life. The only thing, if this message gets through, that studying Shastram and studying anything for that matter, if it is of no use to us at the end, what good is it? What good is it? You have studied a lot from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, but if no realization has happened, what benefit is there? That is the opinion of all the great jnanis and great realized souls. They have only this one thing to tell us. Many people come to spiritual life, but they branch off in other directions. They don't understand what for they have come to spiritual life. Spiritual life is for realizing the truth, realizing the self, what we are. And if that doesn't happen, then all that study is, what you have done is Abhiravidya. It is Abhiravidya, Avidya. Abhiravidya, Avidya. So, there is a history about Nandana. Nandana was going to Chidambaram temple. And while going there, what happened was that he was often very much affected by the bhakti in the heart. So realized he was that he says at that time, people started calling him crazy, like people did with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, isn't it? They called him crazy, that so many things he is doing and so many people are complaining about that. Why is he? They said to him, are you crazy? They say to Nandana. Nandana was a devotee, but that infected with that consciousness, that he is realizing it. When realization comes, what happens to a person? Everything changes in his life. When realization comes, that is why, because inside we are saying we don't want any realization. Because if realization comes, we have to leave everything. That is the problem. So inside we also are in a dilemma. Most of the people are in this dilemma. If realizing, they'll ask, they'll hear everything, but they don't want the change. Change is unwelcome. They don't want the change. So if you look into Ekadasha Skandam, it will mention there what happens when this change happens. Change happens in a devotee's case, it will happen in a different way. What will happen to him? Devotee's case, what will happen is that he will start thinking that that as soon as realization happens to him, he will start seeing things from a different way in life. Everything will be different for him. For example, that Krishna mentions to Uddhava, Krishna says to Uddhava, what happens is that a devotee, no muhyan shutradader bhavasarani bhavai, tonini nashayatva chinda sadatya shali, Nimishalavamavi tulpadada prabham tulpadada pragambaha. When bhakti develops in the heart of a person, bhakti nulpatti vriddhi, bhakti develops in a person. What happens at that time? Tava charanajusham sangame neva pamsam. That attraction to Krishna gets stronger inside. That is the symptom of a bhakti. Attraction for Krishna gets stronger. This is not the sadhana state. Sadhana is over. Sadhana state we are struggling. Sadhana is nothing but struggle, isn't it? Sadhana means struggle. That's why the sadhana comes. But sadhana is like that, continuously struggling in bhakti. But there is a stage in bhakti, when sadhana stage is gone, bhakti nirupatti vriddhi, bhakti has come to the heart. Tava charanajusham sanjame deva pumsam. Attraction for the world has gone from within the heart. And then what will happen? Naiva pumsam asadye punyabhajam shreva jagati srimadam sangamena. Devotees thinking at that time, once that stage comes, when bhakti develops in the heart, attraction for the world goes, all he is looking for association. Association with the great personalities, with Mahatmas. Their association is then he will be looking for. He has no interest in this world in anything else. Bhakti nirupatti vriddhi tava charanajusham sanjame naiva pumsam asadye Punyabhajam Shriyeva Jagati Srimadam Sangamena Tulsango Deva Bhuyan Mama Khalu Sadatam Tvanmukha Dunmishaddi Tvanmahatmya Prakare Bhavati Jasgrada Bhakti Ruddhuda Bhava. At that time what will happen is Talsango Deva Bhuyan Mama Khalu Sadatam. When he comes into contact with great jnanis or great devotees, when he keeps on hearing about Krishna year after year, day after day, month after month, year after year, if that becomes his desire, provided the taste has happened, sadhana stage is crossed now. All he wants to know is to experience Krishna everyday life, every moment. When that stage happens, all he wants is that association with people who are in that state. Tansango Deva Bhuyan, then he is in that state, Mama Khalu Sadatam Tvanmukha Unmishadmi. Whenever everything is spoken about Krishna, he keeps completely absorbed in that. That is the state at that time. That time sadhana and the struggle all is gone. He has come that pure Krishna consciousness has started, bhakti has developed inside, that desire to hear more and more and more about Krishna. All the experiences of the great devotees, jnanis, their realizations, and that wide world of spiritual life is opened up. Tvanmukha unmishadvi tvanmahatmya prakare rahi. When you keep on hearing about Krishna, you will start realizing the glories of Krishna, greatness of Krishna. When we say Bhagavan Aishwaryesa Samagrasya Videsya Shashastrayat Jnanam Vairagyam, the 6 opulences of Krishna normally we address. But when we study here about Krishna in that way, all these 6 opulences of Krishna makes us wonder the greatness of Krishna. That is why it mentions there, Twal Sango Deva Bhuyan Mama Khalu Sadadam Tvanmukha Unmishadbis Tvanmahatmya Prakareti. Mahatmya means the glory of Krishna. So when you realize glories of Krishna, Tvanmahatmya Prakare Bhavati Jasgrada Bhakti Ruddhuda Bhava. What will happen at that time is, initially he had some bhakti, but when he started hearing about Krishna more and more and more, and realizing the glories of Krishna, this bhakti what is inside becomes very deeply rooted inside. That bhakti becomes very powerful inside. That is what is mentioned there. Pal sango deva bhuyan mama khalu sadadam tvanmukha unmishadbhi tvanmahatmya prakarehi bhavati jasudrada bhakti ruddhuda bhava. When that bhakti comes, then he has escaped from here. He doesn't have to come back here anymore. That is that stage. So even you will see this in all the great devotees' case. Initially they have started. Some, as much as their sadhana stage is gone away and they have come to the final stages, you will see that it is getting deeper and deeper, or much more stronger experience of that bhakti inside. That's what you see in the Mahaprabhu's pastimes also at the later date. How deep level bhakti was exhibited by happening in his pastimes in this world. Initially, you will see in the early days, if you look as a brahmachari, he lived, he got married, first time Lakshmi Priya, Vishnu Priya, like that, married life, everything. But as soon as he took sannyasam, by now bhakti has become so deeper level, then you will see it was a madness after that, isn't it? You see so many great personalities were trying to bring him back to the mundane consciousness, but he was finding it difficult. Why? Because of this. That what is happening was that Tunmuhan Unmishan Vittanmahalmya Prakare Bhavadita Sudha Bhakti Rudhuda Bhava. That bhakti has become so deep inside that he cannot anymore come back to our world, of this world. He cannot come back to this world anymore. He has gone. He has gone from this world. That is why mentions Krishna says to Uddhava, Shreyo Mahakeshu Bhakta Vadhiga Bhagavani Janma Karmani Bhuyo Gayam Shemani Namanyami Taduvayam Pratrudam Pratrudalma. When in talking to Uddhava, this is particularly comes in the Nimi Navayogi Samvadam. That is where it happens. When Nimi and Navayogi, we are talking about Bhakti, well they know. Bhagavata Dharmam, when Kavi Maharshi spoke about that, what did he say to him? Bhagavata Dharmam, when it was discussed, the higher states of Bhakti is discussed there. Mentioned there, Shreyo Margeshu Bhakta Vadhiga Bhagavani. Of all the processes, Bhakti, once Bhakti develops in the heart, then Jnanam, Karmam and all, they withdraw. They do not have much to do at that stage. Jnanam and Karmam will not have a lot to do at that, when Bhakti develops in the heart. So, of all the different processes, Bhakti is liked by many and respected for this reason. Why? Janma Karmani Bhuyo Gayam Shemani Namani Abhitatu Bhaidam Pradrudam Pradrudalma. That when it comes to the Bhakti level, in Bhakti, what's happening? Gayam Shemani Namani. One is able to simply absorb in Krishna to such level that you cannot stop chanting the holy name. You cannot withdraw yourself from singing the glories of Krishna. It becomes intoxicated with Bhakti. That Bhakti means love for Krishna, isn't it? It becomes to such a degree that you cannot withdraw from that state anymore. Pradrudam Pradrudalma. That inside it is boiling, it's buzzing inside, you can't come out from that. What will happen? Udyarda Sankadajal Kohajidamirudan Kwabi Garjan Pragayan Unmadiva Pranatyan Ayiguru Karunam Lokabahya Chareyam. This is the state of the devotee. That is why these realizations are for the devotee. What will happen to him? Udyarda Sankadajal. Sometimes he cannot stop talking. He keeps on talking about Krishna. And Kuhajal Abhirudan Kwabi Garjan Pragayan. Sometimes he sings about Krishna. Sometimes like a mad person he laughs at everything. What goes on? Seeing our madness, in other words. He is laughing at us, seeing our madness, seeing us running around all over the world like a headless chicken, trying to find some meaning of life. So he laughs at us at that time. Unmadiva Pranatyan. We laugh at him and he is laughing at us. So it says here that Udhyanda Sankadajal. So when that Udhyanda Sankadajal, in other words, when Bhakti has developed in that degree inside, Kwabi Garjan, sometimes he will make a very unusual sound from within because of that realization inside. Pragayan, sometimes he sings about that. And Kwabi Garjan, Garjana means loudly shouting at others. All realized souls do that. They will behave in a very unusual way. We will think they have gone crazy. But actually we have gone crazy. That's why we can't understand that, what's happening to them. Realize Jagadarada was like that. Dattatreya was like that. Shukadeva Goswami was like that. In the Bhagavatam, if you take, you can see there. All of them are like that. Unmaniva Pranatyan Ayiguru Karunam Yogavahyascharyam. What has happened to them is, because of the realization of what they are, they come to that understanding who they are, what they are. Unmaniva Pranatyan. But body has not gone away yet. They are waiting for the body to go. So because of the presence of the body, whatever they are doing, through this body, we will see as though some drama is going on here. They are not seeing that. We are seeing that. We are looking at the body only in everybody, isn't it? We look at the body only. And that body will act according to their thinking what is going on inside. So many cheshta it will do. So many things it will do, the body will do. Seeing all that, we are thinking, oh, the person is not normal. But in his eyes, he has already left the body long ago, but it hasn't physically dropped yet. That's the situation now. That's why it says here, Unmaniva Pramratyan, like a mad person is dancing all the time. Ayuguru Garanam, that Meghalur says to Krishna, put me into that category, make me like that, he says. Loka Bhyaschareyam, they are not in this world anymore, they are gone outside this world. Our world is this world where we have always inquiring the well-being of each other, wishing each other happy birthday. This is our world. World of happy birthday and happy birthday. That's our world. This is what world we have created. They don't belong to this world. They have escaped from this world. Our world is all this Vyavaharam plus all our false ego plus our society plus whatever we have added on to it. This is our world. They don't belong to this world. They have escaped from this world. They don't have to anymore celebrate their birthday or any such thing. All those activities are over for them. So that is why Unmadiva Pramratyan Aiguru Garunam Lokabhahyaschaream. Lokabhahyaschaream. Bhagavatam uses the same word Lokabhahya. Lokabhahya means they are not in this world. They are gone out of this world. You can't get them back into this world again. World does not mean the physical world. World means the world in which you live. We live in one world of all these things, rubbish, and they live in another world. That is what it is. So here, you can see here that Paravidya will take you to that world. Aparavidya will keep you in this world. Aparavidya will keep us in this world. So, so here he mentions there that our Sanatkumara Maharshi talks to Narada Maharshi and says to Narada Maharshi that ultimately Anandam Vijana, Anandam should be there, and Anandam or satisfaction or Shanti, let it be there. And if one experiences that bliss of the soul, blissfulness of the soul, Anandam, or that Shanti, peace, inside or perfection within, then you can say he has got Paravidya. He has got Paravidya. Paravidya you should learn, he says to Narada Maharshi. Who says, Sanatkumara Maharshi says to Narada Maharshi that you should learn Paravidya. Paravidya will give you some benefit. Aparavidya can bring you up to a certain limit. Up to some limit, Aparavidya will help you. As far as filling the belly is concerned, Aparavidya is sufficient. But to get that experience of perfection, or what Krishna mentions here, that the Anandam or blissfulness, Trupti, if that is Paravidya. So, so just like you can see here in our material existence, material existence, suppose you have got a disease, any disease, doesn't matter, whatever disease itself, it doesn't matter whoever it is and whatever it is, the disease comes. And at that time, we cannot go and start doing research on the disease, can you? It's not going to help. Just like somebody's got cancer, go and inquire about researching about the cancer, what we should do. That's not going to help. He's got cancer, you have to free yourself from the cancer. So, therefore no use at all. And by the time you do your research and come back with the result, the person would have left this world. Left this world. So that is why it mentions there that this madness, Nandana said like this, that everybody is mad in this world, and actually there is nobody who is without any madness in this world. But only thing is, I am also mad, he said. Nandana says, I am also mad, but I found out the medicine for the madness, he says. I found out the medicine for madness. He mentions at that time. In other words, he was talking about self-realization. That's what he was saying there. That is the only medicine for this. Sharire Jarjaya